The heat is on, and not just because it was about 82 degrees here in Lakeland today. The Harrisburg Heat are in town as the Major Arena Soccer League heads to the Christmas holidays with one more game as the Tropics and Heat tangle here tonight at Sykes Field. Glad to be joined, as always, by the radio voice of the Orlando City Lions, Evan Weston. Evan, happy holidays first and foremost to you. And the Tropics are hoping for happy holidays as well. A win tonight over Harrisburg would be a nice early Christmas present and an important one.
Yeah, some cold in the stocking last weekend from the Baltimore Blast. Almost turned into a nice present with that furious comeback, just one goal short at the very end of the game. Baltimore then went up to Harrisburg and lost. So that's where we kind of stand right now. Florida at 4-4, Harrisburg at 4-5. Just a half game separating these two teams. Potential playoff spot in the balance now as we kind of turn towards the home stretch of the season in early 2018. This game could end up being a very, very big factor, a true six-pointer, if you will, in the soccer parlance here tonight.
Yeah, no question about it. This is the first of four meetings between the Heat and the Tropics, and the Eastern Division looks like it's going to be a dogfight. Baltimore, of course, still the favorite and still on top, but as you mentioned, the Tropics just a half game up on Harrisburg, and Syracuse still very much lurking right behind Harrisburg as well. So that second playoff spot for sure up for grabs in the East, and all four games between the Tropics and the Heat this year could go a long way towards determining that second postseason berth. Let's talk a little bit about the Tropics and the game plan tonight, Evan. The fact is they want more goals. They want more pace. They want more attack. They want more goals. They've got a lineup tonight that emphasizes the offensive attack, and they want to play with a lot of pace tonight, something they've tried to do in the past but haven't been able to do real successfully for four full quarters. Tonight, Clay Roberts is pretty much demanding that the effort be top shelf for 60 minutes.
Well, look, when they have five attackers on the floor, they've got 3 goals in their last 2 games. And that is, just the cut and dry fact of it. They brought on that 6th attacker, got 4 goals in the 4th quarter. They're not going to have that all game tonight, obviously, and they hope to not have it at all. But, this is a team that's going to feel like it has a 6th attacker out there at moments. They might put a 4th forward on the floor with that defense. They get Mauricio Salas back from injury. He picked up a knock a couple of weeks back. He missed the game against Baltimore here at home last weekend. He's back, just a pure goal scorer. They still have that creative ability with guys like Lucas Coutinho and Freddie Mugin, the assistant head coach and the captain. Those guys can play the boards, create some stuff. Like to see a little bit more from the new guys too. Guilherme and Rafael Schempler, particularly Schempler, who was exemplary on the road 2 weeks ago, didn't do all that much in that home game last weekend against Baltimore. So we're going to see all these guys get chances. Everybody's going to get an opportunity to shine. We haven't talked about Victor Pereras or Ricardo Diegues, all these guys that are going to have an opportunity. They're going to be on the floor all together at the same time, and they want pace, pace, pace. We'll see if they can deliver the goods.
Yeah, we'll see if they can. One notable injury tonight for the Tropics, Lucas Teixeira will not dress. He suffered an ankle injury actually in that loss during the game last weekend against Baltimore, and just did not really heal up that well during the week. Kind of the same situation that Mauricio Salas was in a week ago. If he had to play, he probably could, but discretion being the better part of valor in Coach Clay Roberts' eyes at least, deciding to let Lucas Teixeira rest tonight and be ready for that road trip on New Year's Eve against St. Louis. That's coming up next weekend. Talking a little bit about the Heat, no question they can score goals, but they get most of their offense from 3 guys, and the Tropics really want to make sure that they mark these 3 guys literally inside their jerseys. I mean, they want to be that close, and they've got to be aware at all times where these 3 guys are on the floor tonight.
Yeah, this is Ricardo Carvalho, who's really their best player, does a little bit of everything. He scores a ton of goals. He's near the top of the league leaderboard. He can pass and create a little bit too. He's probably the #1 guy to look out for. Then they have a pure goal scorer in Lucio Gonzaga, 11 goals in 9 games this year. He's a guy who's going to find his way onto the score sheet. It's hard to, if you limit him to 1, that's probably good. And then they have a pure creator in Thiago Freitas. This is a guy who only has 1 goal this year, but he has 14 assists. That puts him right near the top of the league. Freitas, who wears the number 8 shirt for Harrisburg, that's typically reserved for a box-to-box midfielder who can, everybody's a box-to-box player in the indoor game, but this is a guy who's particularly going to be all over the floor. He can spread the floor, he can space the floor, dynamic passer. Number 8 for the Heat Thiago Freitas, maybe the #1 guy that the Tropics have to pay attention to tonight.
Yeah, a lot of this game will be determined in the box, both offensively and defensively. One of the things the Tropics want to do as well is create opportunities, and you do that by working hard off the ball. And again, that's been a little bit of an inconsistent effort at times. The Tropics have looked great at times, and they have gone into stretches of kind of inactivity, if you will, that not only, as you mentioned, not only any even strength goals, but not even a lot of chances. And that's something that the Tropics want to try and iron out and be more consistent on tonight, and we'll see if they're able to do it. So again, the Tropics and Heat getting ready to do battle. It's interesting, these two teams have one thing in common, that's wins over Baltimore. The Heat, as you mentioned at the top of the Ybor Eats pregame show here on Soccer Night Florida, that the Baltimore Blast and Heat tangling in Harrisburg last Saturday, and a week ago tonight, and the Heat won it in a shootout. And that's, it's interesting. You go back to November 18th when Florida beat Baltimore here at Sykes Field, and we talked about it maybe being a statement game and being a game where you could really build on momentum and confidence, and that didn't happen. The Tropics just 1-3 since then. So tonight is really the opportunity to, if you look ahead a little bit, and it's a dangerous thing to do in the schedule, there are 4 or 5 games coming up, both here and on the road, that the Tropics probably should be favored in all of them. So maybe tonight a chance to really get on that kind of streak and roll that they're looking for.
Well, consistency's kind of been the Achilles heel for these two teams, right? I mean, we talked about Florida, but Harrisburg, before beating Baltimore the night before, lost at home to Syracuse in a game that they had to have against the team that maybe is 4th best in the division, and really didn't compete all that much in the second half of that game. Gave up 7 goals at home to Syracuse. So we're looking at consistency from these two teams. The other thing to note too, the history here. Florida finally got the Baltimore monkey off their back last month. They still haven't beaten Harrisburg, and that was really the reason why they didn't make the playoffs in their maiden voyage last year. So the Heat know that. Everybody for Harrisburg knows that, and they understand that Florida is still trying to get that monkey off their back. That they get them at home to start, I think, is a big deal. Now, can they capitalize and pull that off?
And that's a great point. The Tropics 0-4 last year against Harrisburg, and that was really, you look back at it, the reason they did not make the playoffs. Our thanks for joining us on the Ybor Eats Soccer Night Florida pregame show. Our friends at Ybor Eats at 17th and 5th in Ybor City. Here's a tip. Try the cheesesteak. And if you really, really want an ultimate cheesesteak, go for it, because it has bacon on it. Oh. And what isn't better? Anything is better with bacon on it, and an Ybor Eats, the ultimate cheesesteak with bacon, it's your place to go. The locals eat there, so forget all the chain places and the fancy schmancy places. Go to where the locals eat. That's Ybor Eats at 17th and 5th in Ybor City. Our thanks for their sponsorship of our pregame show here tonight on Soccer Night in Florida. We're just a couple of minutes away from kickoff. It's the Florida Tropics as they host the Harrisburg Heat on Soccer Night Florida. It's warm in Central Florida tonight, even by December standards, but it's going to get even hotter as the Harrisburg Heat invade Sykes Field at the RP Funding Center here in Lakeland, Florida, to meet the host Florida Tropics. Good evening, soccer fans, and welcome to the balmy tropics, if you will. About 82, 83 degrees in Lakeland this afternoon. About 76, 77 degrees outside right now. I know if you're in Harrisburg tonight, that sounds pretty good. They have a bit of a storm brewing up in the northeast. I think it's on the rain side, though, in Harrisburg tonight. So that's good news. But actually, if it's in the mid-40s and rain, you just as soon have snow. As a guy who grew up and spent 40 years in Buffalo, New York, I know a little bit about snow. Know a lot about Harrisburg. Got a chance to visit the State Farm Show Arena many times in the mid-90s as a broadcaster for the Buffalo Blizzard when they used to take on the Harrisburg Heat, and I know what a good indoor soccer community that is. And the Heat are a team worth supporting. They went through some lean years, obviously, but really started to turn things around under new owner Carl Delmont a year ago. So much so, in fact, that they made the MASL playoffs at the expense of the expansion Florida Tropics. Of course, Harrisburg not able to get by Baltimore in that opening round, but nonetheless a dramatic turnaround from 2 seasons ago when I think Harrisburg won something like 2 games. Probably should have looked that up before talking about it, but they didn't win many, I can tell you that. And it is a completely new franchise and a team that is much more reminiscent of what Harrisburg soccer fans remember from the mid-1990s, with some of the tremendous Heat fans and some great nights at the State Farm Show Arena. As always, pleased to be joined by the radio voice of the Orlando City Lions. That's Evan Weston. And Evan, we talked a little bit about it on the pregame show, but it's worth repeating. This Eastern Division is so very, very tight. This is the last of 6 straight games that Florida has played in the East against the Eastern Division rivals, whether it be Syracuse or Baltimore or now Harrisburg tonight. Really has not gone as well as Florida had wanted. They got off on a great start with that November 18th win against Baltimore, but just 1-3 since.
Yeah, it's so 2-3 in the division, 4-4 overall. And really, other than the Blast, who are, the model of consistency in this sport, quite frankly, everybody else in the division has been marred with inconsistency. We talked about it right off the top. You've got a Harrisburg team that got beat pretty substantially at home by Syracuse last weekend, then went on to beat the Blast the following night. You have a Florida team that 2 weeks ago went up to Syracuse, beat the Silver Knights handily, thrashed them, and then went down to Baltimore and took the second worst loss in franchise history. So it's a matter of being consistent, of finding your identity as a team. I think Florida in particular is still struggling with that. Tonight we're going to see them, I think, be a little bit more aggressive. They're going to try and hold possession more, dominate the ball, play the boards more, and attack. They really have not been all that strong going forward the last 2 games at even strength, and I'd like to see them get a little bit more aggressive on the ball. Now, Harrisburg, I figure, will not have as much possession in this game. They need to be very organized and composed defensively, and they need to get it to their big 3 of Freitas, Gonzaga, and Carvalho if they have any intention of coming out of here with a win.
Yeah, they are pretty much the Harrisburg offense, no question about it. Basically, most of the goals go through one of those 3 guys, and it's the Tropics' chore tonight to make sure they know where those guys are on the field at all times, and that is something that Clay Roberts certainly emphasized to the team in the pregame discussion, literally to the point of being in physical contact with those players as they get into the Florida offensive third, and we'll see if that is able to be something that comes to fruition, but it will be important for the Tropics defensively. And as you mentioned, Evan, offensively they do want to keep possession, but what they really need to do when they're doing that, and haven't again done as consistently well as they would like, is create opportunities off the ball. They need to make runs through the box. They need to really try and make sure they create scoring opportunities when they have possession. Right now we'll step aside for our national anthem.
Continue standing as one nation and one people for the playing of our national anthem.
starting lineups for the Tropics tonight. Peter Sliwa in goal. Anthony Arrico, Mauricio Salas, Lucas Monaleras, and Freddie Mugin. The starting lineup, as always, brought to you by Regal Auto, Polk County's best prices, selection, and service. Check us out on regallakeland.com today, or stop by their Chevy or Kia stores on Highway 98 or on Lakeland Hills Boulevard for their Honda Acura and GMC locations. Down to the field, Chris Economides has an interview with the Tropics forward, Ricardo Diegues.
Certainly not my Florida, Ricky, but big game tonight. Obviously, this team last year had our number. 1-4 against them last year. What are we going to do different this year?
We prepared hard this week for this match, and just going to work hard, do what we know, and hopefully we're going to get the win.
As I said, the Eastern Division is so bunched up, from top to bottom, only 2 games separate each team. Every game's a big game. What's the key? What do we have to do to Harrisburg to get the win tonight?
We're going to work hard defensively first, and then the goals are going to come as always, and that's basically it. Let's play every game as a final, and we're going to do just fine.
Couldn't agree more. Good luck tonight. Thank you.
So the Tropics know they have their work cut out for them, looking for their first ever win over the Harrisburg Heat. Right now, a moment of silence.
Student who tragically passed away during her high school soccer game this past week. Thank you, and our thoughts and prayers go out to all of Jordan's family and friends.
Just a awful, awful story here in Central Florida soccer, and I'm sure many of you tuned in tonight did not hear about it, but literally about a corner kick away here from Sykes Field at Bryant Stadium, where the Tropics sister franchise, the Lakeland Tropics, play during the summer in the PDL. A freshman from Lake Region High School playing in a game there collapsed and did not recover, and unfortunately passed away earlier this week. She was a freshman at Lake Region High School, name of Jordan Bonney, and just an awful, awful story. Not only a soccer player, but she was a cheerleader, a string bass player in the Lake Region High School Orchestra, and just no explanation for what happened yet. Just collapsed and sadly did not make it. The family and friends have actually set up a GoFundMe page to help with funeral expenses, and certainly everyone's thoughts and prayers this holiday season, especially in the Central Florida soccer community, going out to the family of Jordan Bonney. So that was the moment of silence here by the Tropics and Heat and the fans here tonight at Sykes Field. So on with soccer now for the Heat and the Tropics underway. This is the Christmas present, we hope, to fans all around the MASL, the last game before the holiday break for the league, and we expect it could be a high-flying affair. We'll see how it all turns out. And right away, Harrisburg is going to get a restart opportunity from a dangerous spot as Anthony Arrico cleared it over the side boards.
I think we're going to see a lot of longer balls from the goalie, Hugo Silva, down the floor very quickly to try and set up Harrisburg on the counter. Good ball there from Silva to set this up.
From the top of the arc, here's a shot, good block in there, and it'll roll to Sliwa. That's Guillerme. Good outlet almost, but a better defensive play right there by Thiago Freitas.
Freitas so good on the ball. Very difficult to get it past him.
Some space here, shot, and a goal. Too much space for Elmo Neto, who bombs one in from about 40 feet. And just 33 seconds into the game, Neto has his 6th of the season, and the Heat are up 1.
Getting pinned way too far back in their own box. Somebody has to go pressure the ball. We know Clay Roberts wants to see more pressuring on the ball from this team. That's passive defending by the Tropics, and it leads to a brilliant finish, too, for Neto. An excellent strike, but one that the Tropics should not have given up, and one they'll certainly want back when they look at it on film.
Yeah, just kind of parted like the Red Sea there for Neto, and he just walked in and as you mentioned, hit it perfectly. Here's Sliwa moving up into the midfield area, and Harrisburg almost had a takeaway. But the Tropics will control it. It'll come all the way back to Guillerme, Rodriguez gets it up to Rafael Schlemper, playing in his 4th game, and back to Rodriguez. And across all the way now to Pereira. Up to J.P. Reyes. Reyes feeds it through to Diegues. Diegues gets it left side now to Pereira, and he will give to Diegues. A little give and go with Victor. In the corner in front, Schlemper tries to get there. Taken down, whistle and a foul, and a restart opportunity here for the Tropics deep in the Harrisburg end.
Well, this is better from Florida. This is what they want to do, and maybe the goal was a nice, kick in the pants early in the game to get the coach's message clearly through. We'll see how they respond here.
In front, and that one is just high on the redirect. Another shot, and Silva makes a good save.
Well, the initial run into the box was absolutely fabulous from Lucas Monaleras, from Rodriguez.
Intercept, by Aristodemo, and then Diegues couldn't control it. A good chance goes by the boards quickly there.
But this is what we're talking about. Pressure the ball. Get on the ball and make the opponent work for their possession. Don't just concede it the way that Florida has done at times this year.
Another whistle and a foul against the Heat. Yeah, so a couple of good opportunities here early. Silva, certainly one of the top echelon goalies in the league. He was brilliant in a win down here. The only visit by Harrisburg last year, actually 3 of the 4 games played last year were in Harrisburg. The Heat only made 1 trip here to Lakeland, and Silva and the Heat came out of here with a 6-2 win that kind of set the tone for a tough finish for the Tropics. There's Aristodemo, and he'll play it all the way back to Guillerme and Sliwa now. Tried to find Tyrone Hall, but it was not close to the Tropics forward there. Bell Teixeira, the captain of the Heat, number 7. Gets it into the Tropic zone, 1 against 4.
Magnificent hold-up play by Freitas. He didn't get any help, but some fantastic hold-up play. He was waiting for the numbers to flood forward, and they never came.
Takeaway by Guillerme. He's going to try the long ball with Silva cut up field, but didn't really have it on target. Guillerme going to step up here and can't get it, but he's got some help behind him in the form of Lucas Monaleras, whistle and a foul against Monaleras.
Well, now we see the Tropics over-pressuring a little bit, running a little bit under the ball, and you'd rather have that than be too passive.
Yeah.
I've liked what they've done the last 2.5 minutes since the goal.
Controlled aggression. Ball down to Nato, who's got the goal here early.
What a strike that was by Elmo Nato.
Yeah, that was a great shot, no question about it. Comes all the way back out to the midfield line. Thiago with it, back to Silva, right to Thiago again.
And you love that from Enrico. We didn't see any pressing like this last week. This has clearly been emphasized by Coach Roberts. Pressure the ball, stay aggressive.
They do it at times, but they certainly haven't been consistent in that thought, and I think that will change tonight, no question.
I suppose the question is, will they do it for 4 quarters?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Which is not easy. It takes a lot out of you physically.
No, you're right.
But
it's a challenge, but they don't play again until New Year's Eve.
Right.
They haven't played since a week ago tonight, so the legs certainly should be pretty fresh. And I'm sure Coach Roberts is thinking it's probably not too much to ask.
That's a nice ball.
Counter, Diegues over on the half volley shot. Oh, great save by Sliwa. Pereira's cracked it from about 25 feet out.
What a terrific 1-2 from Diegues and Pereira, and all the credit in the world to Silva for stopping that. That was absolutely picturesque by the Tropics forwards, and unfortunate, they deserved one there.
Not quite as good as the save we saw at the end of the game last week by William Benzella, but a dandy one nonetheless by Hugo Silva. Sliwa will clear it to Mauricio Salas, who's back in the lineup tonight. Sat out last week with a little bit of a groin injury, but saw him before the game tonight. Looks like he's moving well and said he's feeling pretty good. So good to have Mauricio back in the lineup. No Lucas Teixeira tonight. That is one pretty big loss for the Tropics. He has got a bit of an injury. Here's a bicycle kick dry, and that just misses high as Diegues gets creative.
Well, Diegues is trying to find himself on SportsCenter this week.
Step up by J.P. Reyes, and he'll control it back out. Gives it to Salas. Tropics need a line change here as Diegues heads to the bench. Rodriguez has it at the midfield stripe. So some great opportunities after Harrisburg opens the game with an early goal. And Hugo Silva has kept the Tropics off the score sheet here for the first 5.5 minutes. But we expected a fair amount of fireworks tonight, and based on what we've seen so far, that may indeed be the case.
Yes, it's been one heck of an entertaining game so far.
Salas was held, good call by the official. He caught that down the field, so the Tropics get a restart just inside the red line. Not sure why the red lines here in Lakeland. Usually yellow, but they've always been red here for some reason. They must have had yellow paint available. Maybe it's red for the Christmas holiday season.
They used it all on the bottom of the boards.
Yeah, there you go.
There's none left.
There's Salas. He's dangerous from this distance. Shot, and that's right into the wall. Rebound shot, and that's blocked. Another try, and that's blocked. So 3 shots and 3 blocks by the Heat, and here's a counter opportunity. Sliwa comes way out, and an easy goal. Neto gets his second.
And Arico here in deep trouble.
Took a little exception to the fact that Neto finished with quite a bit of flair, and he will draw the yellow card.
Well, and this is another thing that has been talked about a lot with the Tropics is, you know, you just can't take these, we'll say, excessive penalties, and Arico in particular has been guilty of that.
Now, he's an emotional player, no question, plays with a lot of energy, and again, just got a little bit of the best of him there. Took exception to the fact that Neto finished the play easily and could have just let it roll into the goal, and instead kind of blasted it away. And Anthony didn't really appreciate that, and you can understand that to a point. Peter Sliwa caught kind of out in no man's land. Sliwa. And
well, he had no choice.
Yeah, right, obviously.
Very little that he could do there, and Neto is a good enough player to get around that. And, at that point, you just let the guy go. You hate to give away a goal off a set piece. The real chance there was Rodriguez's rebound after Salas hit the ball into the wall. And he really did have a shot, I think, to get through an unsettled situation, but he didn't hit it hard. It was a very soft touch. And that second block was the key to springing Harrisburg loose and creating that open possibility.
So Neto with his 6th and 7th now of the season. We talked about the big 3 for the Heat, but Neto is not so little at number 4. Now with 7 goals on the season. That is 3rd on the Heat team. A little shaken up after the contact with Arico.
Number 75 from the Harrisburg Heat, forward Neto
He is okay. Arico in the box. Not a man down situation for the Tropics. Just a, well, actually they are giving him a penalty. So it was a blue card, not a yellow card. Arico is actually has been sent off for a 2-minute penalty. So I thought it was a yellow card that came out. Instead, it actually was a 2-minute penalty, apparently. Did not hear what the call was. But nonetheless, Arico in the box, and the Tropics will indeed play a man down here for the next 2 minutes. So a big chance for Harrisburg to really grab a pretty big lead here early on.
No doubt about it. And, we talked about the big 3 of Carvalho, Gonzaga, and Freitas. We had barely impacted the game at all. But it was the 4th man, Elmo Neto, with both of the goals to start this thing off.
Arico is called for pushing. That is officially the call. So, and I think he may have just bought himself a 1-game suspension as well. I think he may have been 1 blue card away from an automatic 1-game suspension. We'll find out, but he had an accumulation of penalty points coming into the game that put him close. There's a shot blocked in there by Monaleros and out of play.
And now we're seeing Florida timid with their pressure. You know, they pressured that set piece, unsettled spot, and got burned for it. They can't be thinking about that. You got to put that away from your mind and go after the ball here the way that you stick to your game plan that you came in with.
And maybe a penalty kill, if they can pull it off, would be something that gives them some momentum as well. Thiago with it, down low, shot saved by Sliwa on the attempt by Gonzaga.
Confident there by Sliwa, I liked it a lot. Held his nerve, so key for a goalkeeper.
Florida comes in tonight on the penalty kill at about 62%. Harrisburg power play efficiency about 43%, so those are fairly normal numbers. Where Harrisburg actually excels is the penalty kill. They are at 85% when they are man down. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Very, very good.
Still 30 seconds to go in the penalty. Just the one shot so far by Gonzaga. Carvalho with it. Thiago gets it down into the corner and back on top to.
And you see why Gonzaga gets his goals. He's a poacher. He's going to wait right on the post, wait for the ball to come to him and pocket it.
Long shot, and that was a little bit of frustration perhaps by Thiago as he took it over the boards and out of play, and will give Florida pretty much a chance to kill the final 11 seconds on the Arico penalty.
Not a particularly impressive man up by Harrisburg. Really had a chance to take the game by its throat here. Already up 2-0, and you got a shot to go up 3 with a man up for 2 minutes, and they really didn't threaten at all there. So, you know, you like what Florida did on the power kill, or the penalty kill there. Now can they go back to that pressing style? Can they get a couple back here and get right back in this game?
Phil Averbuck, your local criminal law attorney, is our penalty box sponsor tonight. Go to averbucklaw.com or give him a call at 863-533-9000 for more information. At Averbuck Criminal Law, our goals are your goals. Anthony Arico with 11 seconds left in his penalty, so the Tropics should be able to kill that without too much effort. Sliwa will obviously loft it downfield, and the Heat might get one quick opportunity to counter with a man up, but let's see if that's a spark that will get the, not like Florida hasn't had chances early. Certainly Silva with a couple of huge saves, or the Tropics would be on the board, but good penalty kill nonetheless here for Florida. Robbie Aristodemo will stay out, Tyrone Hall, Guillerme, and I believe that's Monaleros on the far side.
They've gotten this little break here, catch their breath. They've been on the penalty kill. No reason not to go all out here.
There's the long ball by Sliwa. Headed to, out of play, and the Tropics will get a kick in here, so they definitely will be able to kill off the remaining penalty time. Now, Arico does not look like he's actually poised to go back. He may have gotten a yellow and a blue. We'll see. Here's Hall in front, and good play by Silva to take it off the boards, and Arico is back on. So,
yeah, I didn't see a yellow come out there.
Yeah, obviously my colorblindness striking at the wrong moment. I thought the official pulled the yellow card out of the pocket, not a blue card. But so the Tropics back at full strength with Hall, Arico, Guillerme, Mauricio Salas, and Monaleros, who heads it back to Sliwa. Tropics will change up here a little up front. Salas with it. Puts it back to J.P. Reyes, and on the right side now, Rodriguez, and right back to Reyes. Tropics definitely doing a better job off the ball. Definitely more movement tonight in the offensive third. See if they can make it pay off. Here's Reyes. Carreras with it. Leaves it off for Mauricio Salas. Tries the shot from distance. Blocks.
I think there's more in this Tropics offense than that. I'd like to see that I haven't seen them use the boards much at all tonight. Get that combination play going, use the indoor environment. Freddie Mugen on the floor here, ready to make something happen.
And he's as good as anybody in the game at using the boards, and that is something, you're right, that the Tropics would like to do here tonight.
It's a little more off-ball movement, too.
Yeah,
some runs into the box.
Yeah, it's been better tonight. Here's a shot, and Mugen on a little redirect from the top of the box, but didn't get a lot on it. And again, Silva right there to make what turned out to be a relatively easy save.
Yeah, there was that 1-2 from Villegas and Pereira that was brilliantly stopped by Silva.
Here's Pereira on the counter, and a good recovery right there by Carvalho.
Really impressed by Harrisburg's defense, and credit to Gonzaga, who is a poacher, but is not afraid to go back and play some defense too.
Carvalho takes it the length of the field, and this is just wide. Here's Aristodemo.
That's a great ball.
Gets it to Schlempler, and he tried to, I think, actually get it across the floor to Villegas, and Robbie got in the way. Good play by Schlempler to anticipate the pass, keep it alive. Comes in front. Villegas tried to get it to Schlempler, couldn't quite do it. And Duarte gets Harrisburg out of trouble for the moment.
I love the aggression, though, and the composure there to settle back and immediately short-circuit the counter. That's great pressing football. That's how you play this kind of style.
Rodriguez with it. Over to Arrico. He'll get it into the Harrisburg third to Tyrone Hall. Back to Guilherme now. Guilherme playing in his fourth game along with Richard Schlempler, the two Brazilian imports, joined the team. Here's Hall in front and couldn't quite get away from Gonzaga. Here's a long outlet, and Arrico tracks it down. Good play by Anthony Arrico. And again, Anthony will step up, gets it ahead, tried to get Tyrone Hall on the run, and Tyrone didn't anticipate that one.
Tropics have to prevent getting frustrated here. You can feel it building up. You saw Rico get a little bit angry when that didn't go through the way he wanted. This is a team that needs to keep their composure. No, they have not had a good start to this game, but they're starting to build some possession. They're starting to build some offense. Let it continue. Let it grow organically.
Paul with the intercept back to Reyes, who thought he saw Silva off his line. Silva comes out being pressured in there by Mugen and Pereiras. Silva will clear the zone. Guilherme comes up, 2-on-1 opportunity here for the Heat off the boards, and comes in front, still loose, and can't pull the trigger. That's Teixeira who tried to track it down. He's taken down, a whistle, and they'll say continuation. So no whistle.
Well, Sliwa kind of mistimed that, and the ball got loose in front, but Teixeira either didn't have the quickness or the angle to get in front of that. I think if that's Carvalho off the ball there rather than taking it in, Florida might be looking at 3-0 here.
Had a little funny English on it. Here's a chance again for the Heat. Shot, that's high.
Just barely.
Just barely is right. Salas will leave it off for Mugen now. There's our friend Neto making his bid for a hat trick here in the first quarter.
Had an unbelievable quarter.
Guilherme will counter here for the Tropics. Again, shot from about 70 feet out or so. Ball in, and Silva will corral it. Tropics would like to get one here, at least maybe before the end of the quarter. Silva got underneath that one a little bit. Guilherme with a challenge to win it. Here's Salas. Salas gets it across. Diego shot. Oh, again a save. Again shot. Goal! Ricardo Diegues with a second chance, and he
composure. This is what we were talking about. Not getting frustrated. The composure of Diegues to stay on the rebound. Patience, take his touch, and fire an equally impressive second attempt. Great strike and a deserved first goal for Florida.
And a reward for the Tropics, who have come close here in the first 13 minutes and had nothing to show. So they now do get on the board with their first And for Diegues, that's a team-leading 8th goal of the season now.
He's had a really nice start to the year. Just a very composed, all-around forward. Can pass the ball. He knows how to play the indoor game. Very, very impressed with that young man, and a great start to the year.
Visit Sonny's Barbecue on 98 North or South Florida Avenue in Lakeland for the best barbecue experience you could ever want. Whether it's a quick lunch or a family meal, you'll leave happy and full at Sonny's Barbecue. We'll be having watch parties again during the season up there at the north location on US 98. Just north of I-4 there, right around the I-4 interchange with 98. So keep an eye on the Tropics social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and tell you about the watch parties coming up at Sonny's Barbecue. Long ball down for Rico. Redirect in front. Goal! Well, that's a way to make up for the penalty, that's for sure. Anthony Enrico with great hustle and a great ball to Anthony in the box. And again, second effort.
That's just a phenomenal individual football play, right? I mean, that is terrific individual football by Enrico. You get down the floor. Pitch, and again, staying with it after your first touch and being there to collect the rebound. The ball pings around in this game so much, you can have it land at your feet at any moment. Enrico was there, and I'm so impressed with him because I know he was frustrated. You could see the body language on him. He was really upset with himself throughout this quarter, and you saw the celebration. Christmas come 2 days early for Enrico, and a great way to end the quarter for the Tropics as they've drawn even with the Heat.
Yeah, now they want to keep it there. Dennis Ball is taking a timeout here to make sure momentum doesn't swing as far to Florida's side as seems to be the case at the moment. But the Tropics had worked hard here in the first 15 minutes, and as you point out, Evan, some of that frustration, I think, coming from the fact that they had several really good opportunities and had nothing to show for it. And second effort both by Diegues and now Enrico, tying the game here in the final minute of the first quarter. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, you had a nightmarish start, right? You had Neto get down there and score 30 seconds in. Your pressing leads to a second goal for Harrisburg. That's going to happen when you press. You're going to give up a couple of weird ones. It's just the nature of the system. We see it with pressing teams in European football all the time. But with this Harrisburg team, you can get at them if you keep on it. And the Tropics did it. And they've now, on the counter and on these unsettled situations, put together 2 goals. Just a great, great run for Florida. They'll have to keep it up the full 60 minutes. That's the big key.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of the fact that the Tropics have had a lot of chances this half. They're out for this quarter. They're out shooting Harrisburg 13-4.
13 shots.
Yeah, in the first quarter.
Here they come
and
again.
Here's the counter again. Coutinho with it. Coutinho on the right side to Guilherme, who joins the offense.
I love Coutinho. What a fun midfielder he is.
Yeah, he's got to play a role here for this team. There's no question.
Haven't seen much of him so far tonight.
Tried to look for Mugin in the corner, couldn't get there, but Monaleris will step on the intercept of Pereiras. Pereiras may take a shot from distance and does.
I don't hate that. I mean, if there's a guy on this team you want taking that shot, it's probably number 7. And Pereiras came fairly close on that one. You know, they've got Silva in a situation where he's unsettled. You're at the end of the quarter. Why not try and take a crack at him?
The Tropics with 2 goals less than a minute apart. Diegues' 8th of the year came at 13:19, and Enrico's goal came at 14:03. So just under 50 seconds between the 2 goals. Here's a counterattack again for the Tropics, or for the Heat. Sliwa comes out. Good challenge that time by Sliwa, and that is the end of the quarter. Fortunately for Sliwa, but a good decision that time by Peter to come out. He knew that there were only a few seconds left, and really all he had to do right there was run a little interference, and time would expire. So the Tropics have plenty of chances and finally convert late to tie it at 2. As we take a look at what is a pretty nice holiday crowd here at Sykes Field. As we mentioned, the only game in town on the EA Smiles fan cam. Glad to have EA Smiles, of course, as one of the Tropics sponsors here in 2017 and 2018, along with comprehensive roofing. For all your roofing needs and quality, you can count on callers at 863-210-5583, and you can enter to win a new roof. That's right, the Tropics and Comprehensive Roofing have teamed up to give someone in Central Florida a brand new roof. All you need to do is log on to fltropics.com/comprehensive roofing for all the details, and one lucky fan here in Central Florida is going to get a brand new roof thanks to Comprehensive Roofing. So the Tropics, as we said, beginning to stretch the night of games that you could certainly make a case that the Tropics would be favored in all of them. They will head on the road next Sunday, it is. It's actually a New Year's Eve matinee in St. Louis against the Ambush. St. Louis, the team that just last weekend broke, and do not adjust your sets, a 22-game losing streak. But the Ambush actually are not bad. They have played a number of close games this year. They only won once last year, and believe it or not, it was against the Tropics in St. Louis. So you can look at all the numbers, and you can certainly say that on paper Florida would be favored, but that will not be an easy game out in St. Louis next Saturday, Sunday afternoon, New Year's Eve. And then they come back for 3 in a row again here at Sykes Field with Syracuse, St. Louis in the rematch, and then Kansas City on January 20th. And the Comets are just not the Comets of old. No Steven Patterson in goal, and boy, has that been evident.
Well, I saw them on the home schedule and was really looking forward to it. But you're right, they, I mean, now again, every Florida Tropics game, especially when they play this way, is just a blast to come out to. But you're right, they are certainly in a bit of a rough way. So you're right, you got 4 games here until they go to Harrisburg at the end of next month. That 3-1 certainly would appear possible, and 4-0. I mean, you can't expect that, but it's on the table.
Yeah,
and 3-1 certainly seems doable. So, yeah, tonight could be a springboard into a very successful January for the Tropics.
Yeah, these two teams will tangle again at the State Farm Show Arena at the end of January. That comes on a Saturday night. And as we said, it's the first of 4 here tonight between these two teams. The Heat will be back in Lakeland again on February 9th. And then the Tropics will begin what is a very difficult 4-game road trip to end the regular season. And that starts Friday, February 23rd in Harrisburg. The Tropics will then play in Baltimore, move on to Milwaukee, who is undefeated right now, and then end the regular season in Kansas City. So 4 games on the road to end the season. It's one of those scheduling quirks. The RP Funding Center here in Lakeland is reserved for those 2 weeks for the boys and girls state high school basketball championships. And so no way to obviously schedule a game in, and the Tropics have to finish on the road before. But we're a long way from that. As Aristodemo makes a nice defensive play, he will track down the loose ball in front of Nato.
Still some pace in his legs at 40 years old.
He's one of my 2 or 3 favorite players to watch on this team. Love his heart, love his hustle, and he understands this indoor game so well.
Just a smart player. You see with that tackle, just anticipates where the ball's going. He's got so much experience. Love watching him out there.
Florida's a better team when he's on the roster. Here's Villegas trying to control in the corner against Nato. Back to Salas. Salas to Villegas. Right back to Salas. Shot. Goal! Little give and go. And Salas, from a rather sharp angle, is able to bang it home, and Florida has its first lead.
Yeah, when we get the replay here, Brian, I want you to look at this angle. This was so tight, and this is why Mauricio perfect shot. And the other thing there, and this is less positive, Silva's got to do better with that. That is, when you're at an angle like that, the keeper needs to stay firm on that front post and make sure, that's an easy kick save, and kick saves are his specialty. I'm a little shocked by that. I would expect Silva, considering some of the great saves he made in the first quarter, to do a little bit better with that. But that's a phenomenal strike by Salas, no matter how you slice it.
Montalera's going to be called for the foul, kind of a tough foul. He was defending pretty well from the seat of his pants against the Sheriff. But the Heat will get a very dangerous restart chance here now. Danny DePrima at the top of the arc. David Miller to his right. It's DePrima with a shot and a block by Guilherme. Guilherme on the line makes actually the save and stops with a goal that would have tied it at 3.
Pretty good kick save from the Brazilian right there. Covered the ball too.
Yeah.
Who needs hands?
Yeah, right? Well done. Well done indeed. Here's Pereira's.
Well, we know who the emergency goalkeeper is.
Yeah, right. If Victor can't go, it might be Guilherme. Here's Diegas again. In front, Schlemper with the left foot, and he got it just a little too hot and high and out of play.
This is terrific, though. I mean, this is what you want coming out of that quarter. They've got all of the momentum behind them, and it's that pressing system. You live and you die by the press when you're this kind of in a situation. You look at the world's most famous pressing managers, Pep Guardiola, you think of Jurgen Klopp, guys who will, emphasize offense, Arsene Wenger. It's a style, and you give up some cheap ones at the back, but when it is working, it is beautiful. Very nearly right there. Yep. That is a ball that Florida, this team would not have pressured the last couple of weeks, and I love to see it.
Diegas nearly got away with it. It wasn't a ton of contact, but just enough. Aristodemo on the step up, and he's going to be whistled for the foul. And this might be a blue card, and it is. That's a little bit of a tough blue card. It was a strong challenge, and Thiago went down, but Aristodemo will head to the box, so the Heat will get their second power play of the game.
Well, if there's a chance we could see this again, that is, kind of a 50-50 call there. I think clearly a foul. I think the question is that really worthy of a card? Robbie Aristodemo not really protesting too much.
Yeah, and I will say this is a top shelf officiating here tonight with Brian Miller.
Well, you'd certainly like to see Harrisburg do a little bit better with their man-up situation here. Didn't threaten much at all on the one they had in the first quarter on the Rico blue card.
Tropics able to clear the zone as Tyrone Hall took it away, and Anthony Enrico did the opposite.
Yeah, that's nice from Hall. Little backheel to his own man. He knew exactly where it was going. That's composure.
Again, Enrico tries to clear the zone. Neto intercepts. Comes through and then banged off the boards. Played by Monaleris there to get it out to the midfield zone. His back to the midfield circle. Only one way to use the boards in this game. Here's a ball through the box. Enrico again. A good job using the boards. Gets it to himself. Tries to keep possession. Took kind of a crazy hop, and Gonzaga able to track it down. Almost an intercept by Guilherme, and now Monaleris does step up. Can't clear the zone though. There's a long shot blocked by Hall. Heat still with about 45 seconds to go on the power play. Shot just misses. Good opportunity there. Carvalho with it. On top now to Thiago, back to Carvalho. Back to Thiago. Shot, good save, rebound, and Sliwa got a piece of that one. Peter's best save of the game.
Excellent stop by the Florida keeper. Sometimes you need that in a penalty situation.
And a little sneaky on the second save. That was as good as the first. Just got enough of it to deflect it away from the line. There's a shot and a goal. So the Heat do tie it on the power play. Near post strike.
That's really good stuff by Gonzaga, a real grass cutter. And Sliwa, those shots on the ground, they look easier. Place too. That on the replay, that was closer to the far post than I thought it was originally. That was a really good shot. It's hard to fault Sliwa too much for that one, and a desperately needed goal for the Heat. They needed to convert on that penalty and get a little bit of momentum back in their corner. What a game so far, huh?
Yeah, kind of expected a barn burner tonight, and it looks like it will indeed play out that way. 3-all tying, you're right, that will at least serve to stem the Florida momentum for a bit. Reyes will move it up here. Gets it ahead to Salas. Down to Nugent. Battles in there. One-on-one. Still trying to take it away, and Nugent going to be called for the penalty.
Foul on number 10, Frank Nugent.
One of the things the Tropics defenders doing a pretty good job tonight, taking the ball out of their own zone instead of those long, mindless passes into the offensive third that very often result in an immediate change of possession.
Yeah, they're playing from the back a little bit more, which I like to see. A little bit more link up, especially in the last, 7-8 minutes or so. We've really seen that come together for Florida.
Pressure by Herreras. That's Micon Franca actually taking his first shift tonight. Here's Salas with it. Play it back to Rodriguez and over to Aristodamo. Aristodamo will push forward to Franca. Micon right back to Robbie Aristodamo. Over to Guillerme. Pressured by the Heat here. This is Carvalho watching Monaleris. Schlemper got it right back to Monaleris into Aristodamo and tried to lay it off to Schlemper. Continues the battle in there. Good work by Schlemper against Nato, and the Tropics will retain possession. Tropics working hard here, no question about it. Sliwa will slowly move it up to the center circle, gets it in for Diegas. Diegas off the boards, nobody making a run in front. Schlemper taken down by Nato. Tropics want a card, but no blue card, just a foul.
I think that's the right call. That's just a strong challenge. Ball and getting clipped up.
Guillerme tried to get it down to either Arico or Diegas in the box. Monaleris now with a long ball down to Diegas. Ricardo looking for his second of the game, leaves it off. Shot by Arico is blocked out of play, but a corner kick coming up here for the Tropics.
Corner kick, Tropics.
Tied at 3 with just over 9 minutes to go now in the first half. Arico will put it in play, and Nugent had it hit, and I don't think that was the intended target.
They had Salas wide open.
Here's a 3-on-2 chance for the Tropics. Now it's going to go to a 3-on-3. Diegas in front, and again, nobody making a run for the Tropics. Salas steps up, but can't find Diegas, but the Tropics will control. Guillerme has it. Guillerme with a long shot, and that just misses high and wide.
Well, you know what? They've got a little possession here, feeling their way back into it after giving up the goal. And I get the sense that we are a long way from any sort of resolution in this game. And thank goodness we got 4 games scheduled between these two again, because I think every single one of them is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Silva will bring it out over his own red line, drives it into the Florida zone looking for Teixeira. Takes a funny bounce off the end boards, and JP Reyes isn't able to control it, so it'll be a kick in Harrisburg. Primo will do the honors.
More good pressing by Florida.
It was definitely part of the game plan tonight, and they have kept it up for the first quarter and a half. That was the idea.
There's absolutely no space for Harrisburg to operate. All pressure all the time. Love it.
Franca with some fancy footwork before he heads to the bench on a line change. Salas will come out, feeds it ahead to Aristodamo. Aristodamo, shot off the boards, Nugent can't control. Salas trying to track it down on the near side, and it goes out of play, and I believe this will be a kick in for the Tropics.
A lot of different things Salas can do with this here.
Including scoring. There's a shot deflected in front. Salas tries to get through. Nugent tracks it down, leaves it for Salas, and didn't get as much on it as he wanted with the left foot there.
I think he had a little more time than he thought he did.
I think so.
Because he went for the left foot there, but I think he had time to touch that down, go to his right, and put some power behind that ball. Perhaps just a little bit rushed there by Mauricio.
Counter-attack here for Harrisburg. There's a shot. Misses short side. Salas helps Sliwa control the rebound.
Great recovery out of the press by Florida.
Ahead to J.P. Reyes. Don't see him get involved in the offense much, but he pushes ahead. But
well, when you press, everybody's a forward.
That's right.
And that's just kind of the way it is. And Florida's, I mean, this is a really strong press.
3-on-2 now for Harrisburg. Salas watching on the far side, and a good hand save on Chiago right there. Reitas able to try and get a shot away. Here is Monaleris with his shot. No handball called. Not sure why. Here's his takeaway, and Arico can't get it. Now it's Coutinho press forward. There's a shot, save, rebound in front. Diegues could not tee it up. Oh, he thought all kinds of time, and again, the Tropics wanted a handball, and they didn't get the call.
How did Carvalho get there in time? Off that rebound, Diegues looked like he had a free shot at an open net. And wow, Carvalho with a tremendous individual recovery.
There's a push ahead by Monaleris. Leaves it to Diegues. Diegues is looking for a Rico far post. He's trying to clear the zone, and they will here. No, yeah, they are going to call it. Again, not a lot of contact. A little bit of jostling, but crowd getting a little frustrated as well here.
Number 11, Diegues.
And again, you know what though? This crew is consistent. They've established what they're going to call tonight, and they have continued to do it. They're going to call they're going to officiate pretty heavily, and the two teams are going to have to adjust to that. That does not help Florida with what they want to do with their pressure, but at the same time, as long as it's consistent, teams normally don't have much of a problem with the officiating.
Here's Netta, who had 2 in the first quarter to give Harrisburg an early 2-0 lead. Challenged on the far boards. Good takeaway as Monaleris did good work. Guillerme to Arico. He's got Mugin with him. The Tropics want a line change as Coutinho heads to the bench. Monaleris steps up. Freddie heading to the bench. Long shot by Schlemper. And that goes over the glass into the drop.
A little bit too much bomb tossing here in the second quarter. We saw a ton of that against the Blast last week. Just shooting blanks from behind the line, and I think there's a little bit more of that than they would reasonably want here. They want more of that combination play off the boards that we saw late in the first, earlier in the second quarter.
Thanks to Guardian Wealth Management, a sponsor of the Florida Tropics here this season in the Major Arena Soccer League, where your money is concerned. For personal service, innovative ideas, and practical advice, go to guardianwealth.net or call Guardian Wealth Management at 863-904-4760. So we're tied at 3. We have just a little over 6 minutes to go here in the first half. The only game in the league tonight. The Tropics trying to protect their second place standing in the Eastern Division. Baltimore on top 6-2 so far. Their 2 losses, one against Florida here and in Harrisburg last weekend. The Heat at 4-5. And Syracuse, of course, bringing up the rear, but still very much within striking distance at just 3-4. They've only played 7 games so far this year. That is the fewest of any team in the NASL, along with San Diego. The Sockers have only played 7 so far. So technically, Syracuse and Harrisburg are tied for third, even though on percentage points, Harrisburg would be ahead. But they have lost 1 more game and 1 more game than the Silver Knights. And all 3 of those teams really just very similar. The goal differentials are virtually identical. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be. We talk a lot about this Harrisburg-Florida rivalry. Don't write off Syracuse. This is a Silver Knights team that went to Harrisburg and beat the Heat convincingly last Friday night. They can play too. I mean. This is going to be a 3-way dogfight down to the end, and Florida still just 2 back of Baltimore, so anything can happen in this league. Silva will put it in play. Pressure up front there by Schlemper. Push down, and there's a whistle and a foul against Juwan Lately, who was in the lineup for the first time here in 2017-18. Juwan Lately, one of the original players for the Tropics last year. Very fast, very energetic. I'd like to see him out there as well. He's actually broke a leg playing soccer this summer and has been rehabbing ever since. He leave the team and dressed here tonight. Here's a counter-attack opportunity. Guerreras tried to get it to Schlemper, but could not get it through in time.
Strong pressuring of the ball, and pressure doesn't just mean come out and play when the other team is holding possession. That means pressure while you're on defense as well, and that's a really nice job by Florida to get it away from Harrisburg. They're continuing to pressure the ball. That's what we're looking out for. And you see it out from the Heat a little bit too.
Yep, Carvalho, who's been strong both ways here tonight for Harrisburg. Here's Mugin, through ball to Salas, shot, goal! Mauricio with his second of the night on a pretty assist by Freddie Mugin.
There's the combination play we've been looking for, up the boards and through. And I guess we'll see on the replay who was supposed to be marking Mauricio Salas. Whoever it was did not do their job because he came in unimpeded, and a really nice little flick by Freddie, and that's all that was required to get Salas through. Late, got caught up pressuring. That's going to happen when you press, and Salas way too dangerous to be left that far open. And after that, it was academic. Absolutely nothing Silva could have done about it.
I was talking to Mauricio about his injury and whether he was going to play tonight, and he gave me the thumbs up. I said, all right, then I'm expecting at least 2 tonight. And he said, hey, maybe more. Well, he got his 2 here in the first half. Diegas with it. Tropics retake the lead at 4-3. Guillerme give and go with Aristodemo. Robbie tried to get it through to Mauricio, almost was able to hook around Marco Chantel, but Chantel was able to make a good defensive play. Guillerme with some pressure. Malor with it. There's a takeaway. Here's Salas with a long shot. Good save by Silva. Salas again. Fires wide. Aristodemo on the volley. Florida taking whacks from all over the floor here. Shot goes high and wide. Harrisburg really did not have numbers that time and creates this not a good strike.
They're kind of out of sync right now, aren't they? You've got Florida pressuring the ball in the middle of the field, typically winning the ball in those situations. Salas can really just take it. I mean, what a valuable piece he is. I imagine that Baltimore game going a little bit differently if he's available, as it did the first time when they did have Salas in there.
Yeah, he was brought in to be a goal scorer. There's no hiding that fact, no bones about it. They brought him in to bolster what was the second weakest offense in the league last year, and he has responded. Of course, got off to a great start with a couple of goals on that opening night in Rio Grande. Some pressure again by the Tropics. There's a takeaway. This is Rodriguez, shot right into the breadbasket of Silva.
Took a little bit too long to get that wound up. He did have Mugin. He was covered, but he was there at the far post. Maybe try to thread it through to him somehow off the boards.
Some space here for the Harrisburg Heat. Almost taken away by Schlemper. Couldn't do it, but a good toe poke in there by Rodriguez to take it away and keep possession. And Rodriguez 2-on-1 if they hurry here. Mugin down the right side. He's got Coutinho in front. There's Mugin with a shot off the glass and the rebound. Rodriguez made a good run and just couldn't catch up with it.
That was such a veteran play by Freddie.
Yep.
That's a shot that gives you an opportunity to create something else off the rebound. He's so good at playing those boards, and just unfortunate there was no one right there to volley it in, but great idea by the captain.
And a good run by Rodriguez to put himself in position to take that off the boards. Just couldn't quite catch up with it, but that's the Tropics have done a good job tonight using the boards to try and create some opportunities in front, and that was a good example right there.
I love this pressure, and they're doing it right. They're not getting too full of themselves and going right after the ball 100% of the time. When Harrisburg wins it back convincingly, they get back on defense. They're not allowing cheap attempts.
Sliwa takes one in the leg, and there's a whistle, and I don't know if it's a foul or just they stopped it because it was.
I think they called a foul. They're pointing Florida's direction. So
Nato took a whack at it in the corner, and Neto is down as well. But Sliwa, I think, got the worst of that exchange.
That is never fun.
No. So for Mauricio Salas, that's goals number 7 and 8 on the season.
Ties him for the team lead.
It does now with Diegas, who also has one tonight with 8. Diegas and Victor Pereira came in as the co-leaders in goals for the Tropics with 7 each. So they will tend to Peter Sliwa in the near corner.
Well, this is a little worrying for Florida here with Peter Sliwa down injured. And fortunately, it looks like he's back up to his feet.
If you've had a car accident or have a personal injury, then look to Brooks. Our official injury attorneys. Go to brookslawgroup.com or call 1-800-LAW-3030 for more information. So Sliwa was recovered. Neto is also recovered, and we will play on here with 1:47 to go in the half. Tropics leading at 4-3. Rico will send it up, and it's a giveaway, but taken away quickly by Pereira and then Rico. He will clear it to an open wing. Tyrone Hall on the intercept, but it'll go out of play, and it'll be a kick in for Harrisburg. Duarte with it on the near boards. Gets away briefly from Diegas. Pereira with the pressure left side. Good takeaway by Victor. Victor trying to start a counter here. Pereira's 1 against 3. Long shot. Good save by Silva. As Pereira's took it from about 55 feet, and Silva had to be quick to get that one. And Pereira's with a whistle and a foul there.
Silva's earned his paycheck tonight, huh?
He has.
I thought he could have done better with that one Salas shot. The other 3 really aren't on him, and he has kept Harrisburg in this game with some terrific saves.
That could easily be 6 or 7 in the back of the net. Here's a giveaway by the Tropics. Shot and a good save by Sliwa. Saved the Tropics bacon right there.
They are really, really lucky that that was saved by Peter Sliwa. That was a deadly giveaway.
Danny DePrima with a shot from about 30 feet. Nonetheless, a good scoring chance here for the Heat as they will get a corner kick to the left of the Florida goal. And they will call a timeout. BioLife Plasma Services needs your help, Lakeland, in saving lives. To learn how you can become a donor and get paid for your donations, visit biolifeplasma.com. So with 59.3 seconds to go here before intermission, we'll hopefully have a chance to chat with Clay Roberts for a moment as the teams leave the field. And Denison Cabral, the Harrisburg Heat coach, hopefully a chance to talk.
Hi everyone, I'm Shannon Estelle. I just wanted to say hi and hope you enjoyed tonight's game. When you're done here, go over to my YouTube channel to get to know me a little bit better. And yeah, enjoy the game. Go Tropics.
You need to mark and actually Prietas and Cavallo not on the score sheet yet tonight.
Yeah, it's impressive. And, Freitas with his assists is where he can really make you pay. We haven't talked about him much at all. I have to give credit to some of the other Harrisburg players, though. DePrima has put in a really good shift tonight. I like what he does. Really a full length of the field player, goes up and down the floor. Basso has had a nice night, too. Really should have had a better chance a few minutes ago. And Duarte has played good out of the back, but overall, you look at Florida right now, they're doing what they want. If you're in Harrisburg, you look at that scoreboard, I think you're fairly satisfied considering how you played.
Yeah, you Hugo Silva the man of the match, or the man of the half match, if you will, for Harrisburg so far. Corner kick coming up. It'll be Carvalho to pull the trigger. He's got Gonzaga on top on the near side of the box. Off the boards in front, and the Tropics will clear it away. Aristodemo going to try and put some pressure on, and Silva clears it or heads it out of play. So the Tropics will get a kick in here with 52 seconds to go in the half, leading 4-3. Guilherme with it. One of the defensive plays of the game.
You'd love to have one more if you're Florida here.
Yeah, you'd like to have one more, but don't give up one.
Sure.
Aristodemo. And this one's going to stay in play, fortunate for the Tropics. Silva with a long ball down. Guilherme will control it. Looks for Mugin, can't get it, but Salas does, and Mugin gives it to Salas on a little give and go. Shot, here's Mugin still with it. Mugin tries to turn and fire. Good defensive play by Duarte. Shot, good save by Sliwa. Rebound in front, and Enrico took a whack at it. Here's a shot by Guilherme, just goes wide, and then Salas, and he's hurt. He is hobbled over there on the far side, and I don't know if that's a groin again or what, but Aristodemo with a good defensive play to get back as Teixeira look for a late opportunity, and we'll see how Mauricio Salas is. That is an unfortunate development there right before the intermission. But the Tropics will head to intermission with a 4-3 lead, and we'll try and get a report on what happened to Salas.
Yeah, you hope he didn't aggravate it. Yeah,
it's definitely a leg.
Yeah, hamstring, you fear. Those can always be tricky.
I don't know if he got kicked or he just took a misstep.
Could put very little weight on the one leg there. And before that, things were looking up for the Tropics, and wow, just a rough turn of events.
So Clay Roberts will head to the locker room. We'll try and get a report on Mauricio Salas, and we'll come back and talk about how things went here for the first 30 minutes and what we can expect over the final 2 quarters in just a moment. This is Soccer Night Florida on MASL.TV. Slide over and see.
Yeah, sure.
I guess that's what they're going to do is for the halftime. Back here at the RP Funding Center, Sykes Field in Lakeland, Florida. Halftime as the Florida Tropics lead the Harrisburg Heat by a 4-3 score. A little pre-Christmas Eve package for indoor soccer fans, Evan Weston. Entertaining half of soccer. We had penalties, we had some great saves, we had some nice goals, and it's all a 4-3 package as we head to the final 2 quarters. And I think both clubs, as we kind of alluded to, had things that they are happy about in that first 30 minutes, and both coaches have things at intermission that they will talk to their troops about that maybe they weren't so happy about as well.
Yeah, I mean, for Florida, you'll love the pressure. They really, especially after that start to the game where they went 2-0 down, the last 20 minutes, including most of the second quarter, constant pressing, really good use of the half spaces, and getting back on defense and doing the job when you have to. I love that from Florida. The negative is, you had that start. You feel you really should be more 6, 7 if you're Florida, maybe up by 3 or 4 goals, and they're not. In a divisional game, that's a massive opportunity to blow the doors off the game, and they were really sluggish after that. Clearly second best on the floor after those 2 goals by Neto. I'd like to see them get a little bit more involved on the counter. Florida's going to be so strong with pressure, and they're going to press the ball so much. They need to play a few more long balls, try to spring somebody loose, send one of those forwards on a run deep, and see if they can try and create one of those unsettled situations like on their second goal. I think that's Harrisburg's best route to try and get one against the run of play.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out over the final 30 minutes. No question that was part of the Tropics game plan tonight, was a lot of pressure right from the start, and Neto, as you mentioned, just 34 seconds into the game, getting the first of his 2, and his second one came at just a few minutes after that, actually at the 5:57 mark. So less than 6 minutes into the game, the Tropics. The 4-goal performance by the Tropics. So a lot of pressure by the Tropics. That's what they wanted. They wanted to create more chances. They certainly did that as well. And so I don't think from that perspective the game plan really should change a lot. As we said, this is the first of 4 meetings between these 2 clubs, so you're not going to empty the playbook tonight necessarily, but you certainly are going to give it as much effort as you can, and I would expect that to continue for Florida over the final 2 quarters.
Yeah, that pressing system was working. I mean, you're on a 4-1 run too, so you look at the score and you're only up 1, but you got down 2-0 pretty early on. So I would stick with what they're doing. The press is working. I think it's Harrisburg who needs to make the adjustment. They need to work on getting a few more long balls out of this, trying to play against a press rather than just try to play their standard game and pressure themselves. I don't think Florida's going to let them do it. I think they need to try and adopt a little bit more conservative strategy here on the road and then try to beat this press over the top. But for Florida, you got to love that second quarter. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and one of the other impressive things for Florida in that first half is they killed off 2 power plays that Harrisburg had, and really that first kill might have been a little bit of a spark that led to that turnaround for the Tropics and 3 straight goals. Power play has been not a problem for the Tropics this year. They've been, I'd say, average on the penalty kill, but those were 2 pretty important kills in the first half.
They did give up one on the second one at 9 seconds left. They had killed 151 of it, and then right at the end they gave the one away. So that was the only goal for Harrisburg after Florida really settled into the game. So, but if your one goal that you've given up is at 9 seconds left on a power play, you're doing something right. So, again, the Salas injury pending. We don't know how Mauricio, how serious that was, whether or not he'll be able to play. We're still looking for an update on that. But it does appear that Florida is the right side with what they've been doing the last 20 minutes of the game. It's down to Harrisburg, I think, to make an adjustment. Yeah, and that is going to be a big storyline in the second half, the availability of Mauricio Salas, obviously with 2 goals already, a big part of the Florida offense. Now, they do have a couple of guys dressed tonight that we saw a little bit that could certainly step up and play bigger roles in the second half. Juwan Laidley making his first start of the season tonight. He was really an impressive player for the Tropics last year, kind of overshadowed by some of the top scorers like Freddie Mugin and Ricardo Dieguez, but he's got great energy. He's the fastest player. He and Maicon Franca, the 2 fastest players on the team, and it could be that we will see more of both of those in the second half, and those are guys that they don't necessarily have the same skills, obviously, or the size, obviously, as Mauricio Salas, but they bring something different to the game with their legs and their speed that the Tropics could lean on a little more heavily in the second half as well. And that pace fits a pressing system, right? You want fast guys out there who can beat you on a counter when you get a ball in the open floor, who can pressure faster guys and take the ball away at the top of formations. That's what you want. So, lately, Franca, I'd like to see a little more Lucas Coutinho in the second half. A little more J.P. Reyes defensively. I know he's not really fitting into this game right now because of the system they're running, but him and Lucas Monolaris, I think both have a part to play in that pressure. So there's a lot of guys who can step up here if Salas is indeed out. And again, we don't know that yet. We will have to follow up and find out about that one. Yeah, and Coutinho, that's a good point. Certainly a guy that can step in and take a regular shift and can score, and has good 1v1 skills that, again, something that you can use in a game where there's lots of pressure being applied. So we'll see how it all plays out in the second half. It could go in a number of different directions, but we expect a lot of goals and a lot of excitement. So wherever you may be tuning in across the country tonight on MASL TV, I know we have fans from all across the country tonight. Since we're the only game in town, we're glad to have you, and we hope you settle in for what will be an exciting, we think, final 30 minutes. It's Florida 4 and Harrisburg 3. We'll take a break. This is Soccer Night Florida on MASL.TV.
I love my job truly because of the people.
I'm actually looking forward to stepping into the office every single day.
I love working at Sykes because I love talking to people from around the country and just hearing their story.
I like the customer interaction.
And it helps me feel that I'm being part of something bigger than myself.
And the reason I love my job is the opportunity to make such great relationships with so many different people.
I work in a family more than at an actual call center.
When it comes to Medicare Advantage plans, here's some great news from CarePlus. With the Carefree plan, you may be able to get a $94 reduction on your Medicare Part B premium every month. That's up to $1,128 a year back in your Social Security check. Plus, no more than $3,400 in out-of-pocket expenses and $0 copays on Tier 1 and 2 prescription drugs. The annual enrollment period is here and ends December 7th, so call today. There's always a plus in CarePlus.
I'm Shannon Estelle. I just wanted to say hi and hope you enjoyed tonight's game. When you're done here, go over to my YouTube channel to get to know me a little bit better. And yeah, enjoy the game. Go Tropics.
Providing the shirts and Here's Chris with an interview with the
Coach, great first half, very exciting. A little bit of a tough luck in the first couple of goals, but I thought the boys played really, really well later on in the second quarter. Your thoughts on the first half?
That's a good first half. For both teams, probably. A couple of mistakes for both teams. And for me, it's fairly even. We need to execute our plan in the second half and continue to fight hard. The guys are fighting hard. Defensively, we have to stay sound and keep to the offense that we're trying to create. So we're right there.
I thought we, for the most part, controlled play over the first half. I thought you guys really attacked well. Can I ask you a favor, please? Can you please win the game going away so that I can just relax second half, please?
The Christmas bonus is ready. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Florida Tropics head coach Clay Roberts. Chris Economides with a little wish for the second half. We'll see if Santa can deliver. And Mauricio Salas is on the pitch. He came out late. He, in fact, just joined the team huddle here. Was beginning to almost assume that he was out, but he is out. He's out on the floor. So
yes,
that is good news.
You know, played a little with my heart there. A little bit, Mauricio. I didn't see him. I figured that it was bad news, but he's going to start the third quarter. What a wonderful boost for Florida.
It does look like he is limping, perhaps just a touch. But
I think a little tape was added to that left leg. You can see the orange is not visible on the left. I think some tape was added there, maybe just to stabilize it a little bit. But he is out there, and that he's back in the game at all is a big boost for Florida.
Yeah, no question about it. So good news for the Tropics, as Mauricio Salas will not only be on the floor, he actually starts here in the second half and puts pressure right away on Steven Basso. Silva will come up to join the fray here at the midfield line. Lays it into the Florida zone, a whistle and a pushing foul against Neto. Not too happy about that call.
Foul on number 75 for Elmo Neto of Harrisburg.
Arico will track it down at midfield, but has it taken away. Chance here for the Heat. Arico will try and get it back, and he takes down Gonzaga.
Well, here we go again, the start of the half, and Harrisburg coming out guns blazing. Not a bad set piece opportunity here in Arico. Good job by Mugen to go over there and make sure that Arico didn't protest too much.
Actually, it was Neto that was taken down. 75, not 85. Tropics with a two-man wall here, not overly organized, but Mugen was able to, well, they're going to.
I think they said Freddie moved
I guess so.
A little bit early.
Encroachment warning against the Tropics. They didn't really have their two-man wall set real well. Now Freddie and Salas going to do it. Here's Chiago with it. Top of the arc, lays it off on top to Gonzaga. Good challenge by Arico, and Arico will try and track down the loose ball. He's got it. Here's a 2-on-0. Here's Salas looking for the hat-trick shot. Oh, he just bent it wide. Arico on the rebound. Can't find the back of the net. Great opportunity for the Tropics. Missed here early. A 2-on-0 breakaway.
That is going to burn for the Tropics. What an open opportunity. What a hustle play by Arico to take that ball away.
Here's Guilherme. Yep, Guilherme's got it ahead to Diegues, right back to, little back heel to Guilherme, but Guilherme had stopped his run just a little bit.
For as accomplished a goal scorer as Salas is, and for how well he's played tonight, that is a shocker.
Yeah, you just about had that one chucked up, didn't you? And he bent it just wide far post.
With 2 locations, Life Storage has all of your storage needs.
Here's a counter attack for the Heat.
Life Storage.
Middle of the field, Kerstetter ahead to DePrima. Check that was Meller. DePrima with it.
I want to see a little more off-ball runs from the Heat, though. They're not getting much away from the ball. It's a lot of just, try and hope your man is there when you make the pass, and that hasn't worked out. And they're getting their pockets picked before they get down the floor half the time. Let's see some runs off the ball for Harrisburg.
Well,
especially considering how much they're absorbing.
The Heat taking a page, or the Tropics really taking a page out of the Syracuse Silver Knights playbook. It was Syracuse that basically went to the basketball equivalent of a full-court man-to-man press the entire game and winning here back on December 1st, and that's what the Tropics have been given the Heat much opportunity to operate. Here's Aristodemo with it. Over to Rodriguez. Marco looks into the zone and puts it right to Silva. You did have two guys deep, but not a good long pass there by Rodriguez. Counter attack, Aristodemo going to try and challenge. Tyrone Hall, see if it stays in play. It will not, as Alex Mendoza, number 24, lost possession there for the Heat. It'll be Basso putting it in play here. It's the Harrisburg captain. Duarte challenged by Coutinho on Gonzaga. Comes back to Silva. Plays it up here to DePrima now with it at the center circle. Neto deep in the Florida zone being challenged by Monalaris, and Neto goes down, no whistle. Duarte tracking it down, again being watched by Coutinho. Back to Silva, and Coutinho in there bothering the Harrisburg goalkeep for just a moment. Tropics 4, Heat 3, no score so far here in the second half. Long ball down to Neto. Again being watched by Monalaris.
Well, they've really marked him tight since he burned them a couple of times early in the game. They've had either Monalaris or Reyes shadowing him constantly.
Take away by Monalaris. Long ball up to Salas. Salas doesn't have much help. Still with possession, drives deep into the corner, loses it, and it'll be Duarte who comes out of there with it for Harrisburg. Sliding attempt by Reyes. He's got Guilherme back to help. There's a push, but no contact or no foul against Diegues.
It's a great tackle.
Arico with it. Goes wide, off the boards. And he will be taken down, and a whistle and a foul against the Heat. Gonzaga, the offender.
Yeah, they played advantage there. Gonzaga clearly pushed Arico out of the way of a goal-scoring chance, and that's a borderline card because of that.
When they get when they get around the dasher boards like that, that's sometimes when you can see a blue card come out. And
I think it's probably the right call not to give one, but clearly a foul. I like them allowing Arico to take the shot and then making the call. Wow, what a tasty spot this is.
You'd have to think the Tropics maybe owed one. Here's Arico with a shot, and Silva with a good save. Corner kick coming up here for the Tropics. Good crack by Arico.
You know, my first two games down here with you, I got to see William Van Zela, and I was kind of thinking, well, maybe the opposing keeper might not be a world beater. But Mr. Silva is giving Van Zela a run for his money tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's been really good. About as simple and as best you can put it. Here's a restart chance. Comes through the box, and Monalaris will collect it out at the red line. Guilherme plays it over to Victor Pereiras. Pereiras being watched by Carvalho. Pereiras shot off the boards in front. Loose rebound. Oh, and somehow Freddie Mugin missed it. Looked like he had an open net, and the ball was taking a little bit of a crazy hop.
Yeah, he was shocked that it even came to him, and he ended up putting it the wrong direction. He kind of scooped it too much with his foot. What an odd sequence of events there. Harrisburg, very fortunate they're not down more.
Good stop by Monalaris and takeaway at the Harrisburg red line. Pereiras will control. Pereiras in the corner to Freddie. Played it off in front. Nobody making a run. Pereiras was a little late in getting there, and it was blocked anyway.
This is really good from Florida, Brian. This is a really nice set of possession. I mean, they've clearly been building to a goal. They probably should have scored once or twice already. You'll go back to that Salas chance where it was basically one-on-one. or even an open net. And Florida really building up to something here.
Restart from the top of the arc. Freddie can't pull the trigger. Here's a chance for Diegas. Shot goes wide. Mujin shot wide. Again, two close-in opportunities, and now it's Freitas with a break. Pereira's getting back to try and break it up. Good play by Victor Pereira to run a little interference. And the Tropics will take it away. It'll be Salas. Salas will slow things down. Probably a good decision right there.
Oh boy, if Harrisburg had been the team to score out of all of that, I mean, that would have sucked all of the air out of the building. That was such an important play by Pereiras because it enabled Florida to stay up. And I mean, wow, that last sequence, 2 or 3 shots centered up. I just don't understand how these are not falling.
Well, just a little bit of bad luck. Certainly a good effort tonight here by the Tropics, no question. Schlemper taken down, and they will finally blow the whistle. Pereiras will look to do the restart here. Still looking for our first goal of the half.
Amazingly.
Yeah, amazingly, right? Silva will take it away from Diegas. Aristodemo on the intercept. Aristodemo with a little bit of space. Gets it through to Diegas. Diegas back top of the box to Schlemper, but he couldn't really pull the trigger. It was just a touch behind him. Now it's Neto at the Florida red line, 1 against 3, but it was able to keep possession, and Duarte will come up with it, has it taken away.
Beautiful.
Here comes Coutinho. Coutinho, little backheel to Diegas, shot, and that's wide. That wasn't really even close. Intercept by Rodriguez, trying to keep it alive. Rodriguez pressing forward. Boy, again, great opportunity for the Tropics, and you don't see Ricardo miss by 3 or 4 feet wide on a shot from in close like that.
They've had, I would count 4 or 5 clear-cut chances here.
Good play by Coutinho. He didn't have numbers, and the Tropics wanted to complete a line change. Here's Sliwa. Gets it over to Rodriguez. Yeah, the Tropics have definitely continued where they left off in the first half with lots of chances, but no goals yet.
I'd say they've been better here in the third quarter, just for whatever reason they have not gone in the net. They've had 3 or 4 open chances.
Here's Tyrone Hall, tried to get it in front. Arico couldn't pick it up. Taken away by Rodriguez, ran into his own man. Actually, it was Manolares, and there's a pushing foul and a takedown against the Tropics. Carvalho slow to get up.
Kind of a clumsy challenge there by Hall. We've seen much better from him at different points in this game tonight. I've really liked the shift he's put in, but pretty clumsy there. And, oh, what's this about?
Well, we have a yellow card for a guest descent. Or, no, it's a...
Warning for delay.
it wasn't, yeah, just a...
Time wasting, yeah.
Yep, delay warning against Harrisburg.
Can't waste time in a game without running clock. This is not the outdoor game. Oh, geez.
Well, the whistle on the official on the far side was holding up play for not exactly certain why. Not really sure what the whole discussion is about here.
Now the fans getting in on the act as well. Well put by our public address announcer. Just a slight philosophical disagreement,
I guess. Well, they'll continue to discuss the situation, but when we have everything all said and done, Harrisburg will get a restart from just outside its red line. So I really don't know what that whole, other than the delay warning, but not really sure what the whole discussion was about. Masso gets it ahead of the field, and then it jumps up over the sideboard, so Florida will get a kick in, and we'll take a timeout with 7 minutes and 1 second to play here in the third quarter. Still 4-3 Tropics as we get a chance to share our Kiss Cam here tonight at the RP Funding Center, Sykes Field.
Show some love for your Tropics.
Fans, visit Sonny's Barbecue on 98 North or South Florida Avenue in Lakeland for the best barbecue experience you could ever want. Whether it's a quick lunch or a family meal, you will leave full and happy. And you can be full and happy, hopefully, at a watch party coming up in the near future at Sonny's Barbecue. They had one. They're 1 for 1 at the watch parties at Sonny's. The first one was December 9th for the road game up in Syracuse, where the Tropics scored 7 straight unanswered goals to turn a 4-2 deficit into a 9-4 win. And watch the Tropics social media sites for updates on the next watch party at Sonny's Barbecue. Don't know if they're having one on New Year's Eve. Probably not, but you never know. That's the Tropics' next start after tonight. A week from tomorrow, a matinee in St. Louis against the Ambush. And then home for 3 straight in January. January 6th, January 12th, and January 20th.
Looking forward to them.
Yeah, that'll be, again, a stretch that the Tropics, you'd have to think, with St. Louis and Kansas City both visiting, a chance to win. Syracuse will end the homestand, and that will obviously be, or actually Syracuse starts the homestand on January 6th, and then St. Louis and Kansas City come in on the 12th and 20th, respectively. Monalaris wins that 50-50 ball. Guillerme tries to get it down to Mugin, intercepted, though, by Gonzaga. Gonzaga and Freddie with a little contact, and Freddie called for the foul.
I think Mugin kicked the door open on the Harrisburg
I'm not
bench.
sure it was a foul. Or,
I think they called him for kicking the door open there.
Needs stronger hinges, I think. I mean, I know Freddie's got a strong leg.
I was going to say, he's got a pretty strong boot.
Freitas with it.
Really,
Freitas, top of the box, right back to Freitas. And Sliwa will come out to play it.
The press has totally short-circuited his creativity.
Here's a counterattack for the Tropics. 3-on-1 if they hurry. It's Pereiras. Feeds it down to Freddie. Or rather, it's Guillerme, and it'll go out of play, so the Tropics at least will get a restart from the top of the penalty arc. They really didn't get a great opportunity on what looked like a pretty good counter chance, but they do end up with a good restart opportunity.
Well, credit to Alex Mendoza for getting back on D to help out Chantel. I thought that was a nice play by Harrisburg.
Here's the restart shot, and Silva with a good save.
What a strike. Perfect to the wrong side of the wall, and Silva, who probably couldn't see that the whole time, guessed right, essentially, and made a great play.
Of course, that's what the wall is designed to do, cover one half of the net. There's a shot from a very sharp angle by Diegas, and that skitters across the box.
That's the Salas angle right there.
Yeah, right? That was even deeper than Mauricio's. But you never know. You can get a funny bounce, or you can catch a goaltender napping a bit, so it's not a bad idea. Here's a shot. Pereiras and a goal! Victor Pereiras on the pretty feed by Ricardo Diegas. And the Tropics extend their lead to 2.
What a silly game this can be, Brian. You play such great soccer for 10 minutes. You're and what a strike by Victor Pereiras. Top shelf, picture perfect, out of nowhere. What a sequence. 4 or 5 uncontested chances don't go in, and then that wonder goal is what ends up finally breaking through for Florida. What a funny game this can be.
It sure can, no question about it. And those two, they hook up frequently. They go back to their college days at UT Brownsville, where they were among the leading scorers on that team. And then, of course, they were 2 of the 3 leading scorers last year. Here's a chance as Ty Hall has it. Coutinho tried to feed Hall to make a run, but Hall was at the end of his shift. And he will head off on a line change.
This is a key few minutes here for Harrisburg. I think they need to get some sort of chance. They need something to rally the troops. They've been getting bludgeoned this entire quarter, the whole second quarter too.
Long ball down to Freddie, and good anticipation by Silva to knock it out of there. But you're right, the Tropics have really controlled pretty much the whole quarter.
Since that nightmare start, I mean, it's 5-1 Florida, and it could be more than that. They really have followed the game plan to a T after that tough start.
Salas leaves it for Arico, who tried to put it in front off the glass, but got underneath it a little too much. So it'll be a goal kick for Silva. We expected a new face in the lineup tonight for the Tropics, Ricardinho. Tremendous indoor player. Played the last 5 years with the Dallas Sidekicks. The Tropics signing him a few weeks ago, and they were actually anticipating that Ricardinho would get his first start for the Tropics tonight. 274 career regular season arena games, 117 goals, and 180 assists as Salas is taken down. But some holiday travel issues made it difficult for Ricardinho to get here, so we'll expect his debut in early January. Maybe the 6th, it may be the 12th. We'll have to wait and see, but Ricardinho will certainly add to this Florida offense with his. He's a good finisher, but he's a better playmaker.
I think they can use that too. You know,
Yep.
Him and Salas getting to play together, I'm looking forward to. Two veterans who've been around the league. And the other thing with Ricardinho is, yeah, he's a veteran. He had his best year last year.
Yeah, that's right.
He's coming off his best season. This isn't some, let's bring in a veteran and see if he can re-find it. I mean, he has found it.
Yeah. 27 points last year for the Sidekicks, 10 goals and 17 assists.
Yeah, phenomenal season for Dallas.
Arico tried to feed it down to Freddie. Salas on the intercept, and then Duarte gets it out of there to DePrima. DePrima gets around Salas. Salas recovers. Left side to Neto. Neto with a shot, and that just misses high.
That's the idea, though, for Harrisburg. That's what I want to see more of. You know, get out in the open floor, counter, make something happen, make Florida pay for leaving so many guys forward and pressing so much. And Neto's kind of been the only guy with that idea tonight. We haven't called Carvalho or Freitas' name very much at all. And Gonzaga's played a lot of defense. It's really been the Neto show, and that's not going to win a lot of ball games for Harrisburg. Not that he's not a good player, but you need your stars to make plays for you if you're going to go on the road and win a divisional game.
And still plenty of time for them to do it. Pereiras gets it ahead to Diegas across the floor. Shot, goal! Richard Schlemper gets his, Raphael Schlemper. Yeah, not Richard. I'm talking about Ricardinho. I had Richard on the mind. Ricardinho will be here in January, but it's Raphael Schlemper.
Nice from the Brazilian. And again, just great pressing football. I mean, this may be the new identity of this team with how well this has gone tonight. I mean, this is a team that should be pressing like this frequently. The depth is there for them to be able to do it, and I'm really, really impressed with the team pressure that Florida has put on tonight. Clay Roberts will be thrilled with this performance.
And you make a great point, the depth, and we talk about Ricardinho coming in. It's one of the things that is significantly different about this Tropics team this year. They have probably at least 4 or 5 more deep in terms of forwards and midfielders than they had last year. And that is, you look at Schlemper and Guilherme and Ricardinho coming in, obviously Mauricio Salas, Lucas Coutinho. It's a lineup that does go much deeper.
Yeah, they really do, and they've got a nice mix of young guys and veterans too. It's a really well put together roster.
Here's J.P. Reyes, 3-on-2 for the Tropics, and he gets it across the floor, but it's a little behind Salas, so the Tropics will have to regroup here. Salas. Shot off the boards in front. Aristodemo couldn't collect the rebound. as Silva went for the shot and missed it.
I should say, though, the scoreline is now starting to reflect the way this game has been played.
Yep.
Really, since the first 5 minutes, this has been all Tropics. And there's really, very little that Harrisburg has been able to do tonight that's produced any sort of success.
Shot, goal! Mujin in front! And the Tropics extend their lead to 7-3.
Well, the floodgates are opening now. He half-weighted. When you're playing defense against the press, it's so important to be decisive. You cannot make half measures. And that's what Steven Basso did right there. He tried to head it up to his keeper, but wasn't sure if he was going to play it out or knock it back to the keeper. I think he realized that he didn't really have that option, but it was a little too late at that point. It doesn't matter what decision you make, but you have to be decisive if you're going to play defense against a press as a lone center back. That was very tough for Basso to handle, and it opened up Mujin, who confidently finished a goal that he couldn't finish earlier tonight. He put that in with aplomb. Well, very nicely done by the captain.
Yeah, and Silva kind of caught in no man's land. Here's a counter for Harrisburg, and a good save by Sliwa as Val Teixeira took a shot from a sharp angle.
I certainly wouldn't blame Silva for this. I think he has kept them in the game as long as they have.
It was not his fault by any stretch. He went for it. Was actually similar to the goal that Baltimore scored against Peter Sliwa to start the game last week, where it went off the glass above the boards.
That was just an odd game all around.
And Sliwa couldn't get it, and Freddie was right there to collect it. Here's DePrimo, drives into the corner. Monolaris being challenged in there. Diegas as well, and Ricardo comes out of there and is taken down. No whistle. Good defensive play by Monolaris again with a block.
And he's pumped up. I mean, look how excited this Tropics team is right now. They are fired up. They're just getting started. We got a whole other quarter to play of this.
7-3. The Tropics have broken it open here a little bit, but a ton of time to go.
I should say, as one of the few non-pressing players out there, Monolaris has been outstanding tonight.
Yeah, he's good every game. He's by far, in my opinion, their top defender in terms of blocks.
I would agree. Well, just the size, and he's very good at positioning himself, and he's decisive.
And
he makes decisions quickly.
There's a long shot wide. Rebound in front. Meller, and he fires over the glass into the crowd.
It's the first real possession I can remember for the Heat since really the start of the quarter. The first few minutes of the third, it looked like Harrisburg was going to come out with a lot of intensity, and Florida kind of quickly took the game back over. But wow, and even there they didn't really threaten. Monolaris is such a composed defender in front of the net. It's a big boost for Florida.
Whistle against Harrisburg. Still time for the Tropics to add one more.
Plenty of time.
By the way, big night for Ricardo Diegas. He's assisted on 3 of the goals here, including the one by Pereiras and the one by Schlemper. Reyes will look and then give it to Pereiras.
I see Harrisburg starting to press a little bit as they've
they'd
found
like to
themselves way
get
in the
one late
hole.
here. Oh, good idea by Salas. Hall will track it down. 6 seconds to go. Don't think the Tropics are worried about getting one here. They certainly just don't want to give one up. And the horn goes to end play here in the third quarter. So after Harrisburg took a 2-0 lead early, the Tropics have scored 7 and the Heat won since that point early in the first quarter. And we will head to the final 15 minutes with the Tropics leading the Heat by a score of 7-3. You're watching Soccer Night Florida on MASL.TV.
I love my job, truly because of the people.
I'm actually looking forward to stepping into the office every single day.
I love working at Sykes because I love talking to people from around the country and just hearing their story.
I like the customer interaction.
And it helps me feel that I'm being part of something bigger than myself.
And the reason I love my job is the opportunity to make such great relationships with so many different people.
I work in a family more than at an actual call center.
When it comes to Medicare Advantage plans, here's some great news from Care Plus. With the Carefree plan, you may be able to get a $94 reduction on your Medicare Part B premium every month. That's up to $1,128 a year back in your Social Security check. Plus, no more than $3,400 in out-of-pocket expenses and $0 copays on Tier 1 and 2 prescription drugs. The annual enrollment period is here and ends December 7th, so call today. There's always a plus in Care Plus.
Hi everyone, I'm Shannon Estelle. I just wanted to say hi and hope you enjoyed tonight's game. When you're done here, go over to my YouTube channel to get to know me a little bit better. And yeah, enjoy the game. Go Tropics.
Everybody's a winner in the Planet Fitness Challenge.
15 minutes to go here in Lakeland tonight before the MASL calls it a pre-holiday season. No games, of course, this weekend after tonight. And the Tropics will be in action next on MASL.TV in St. Louis on December 31st. So hope you can tune in for that one from the Family Arena in St. Charles. The rejuvenated St. Louis Ambush, despite just the one win, they have had a number of close losses. They've added some veteran players, and that will not be an easy task despite what it looks like on the stat sheet. Lanier Upshaw has a passion for embracing the upside of risk to elevate results. Celebrating 75 years in the community of elevating results, Lanier Upshaw is your go-to for business or personal insurance needs. For more information, visit www.lanierupshaw.com. Lanier Upshaw, the upside of risk. Well, the upside of risk is what the Tropics have been about tonight. They have been aggressive and have been rewarded with 7 goals through the first 3 quarters. Ricardo Diegues with a 4.9, a goal and 3 assists. Freddie Mugin with a goal and an assist. Mauricio Salas with a couple of goals.
They've earned them too, Brian.
They have.
I mean, they deserve to be up by this much, if not more. They certainly have earned these goals. They have dominated this game since the first 5 minutes elapsed. Just very, very impressed with Florida, and especially when they got down the way they did. They didn't differ. They didn't go away from the game plan or go into their shell, the way we've seen them do a couple of times this year. They stayed aggressive, they kept pressing, and it all worked out for them in the end.
Well, it has for the first 3 quarters at least. We'll see what Harrisburg may have in mind here for the final 2 quarters. There's a shot, a redirect in front by Mugin on the attempt by Mauricio Salas, and that just missed.
I think the Harrisburg Heat still have in mind duck and cover for the 4th quarter, as they did for the grand majority of the 3rd.
Well, and I agree with you. The Tropics need to keep the pressure up, keep the attack going. This is no time to try and get cute and lay back and try and protect the lead. That does not work very often and very well in this sport. There's a counterattack for the Heat. Shot is blocked off the foot of Carvalho. And Carvalho with a push down of Rodriguez. So Ricardo will be whistled.
Free kick Tropics. The autograph session will begin approximately 5 minutes after the game, and everyone may enter through the goal underneath section.
Long ball down to Mauricio. Out heads Basso, but Silva is able to come up with it. Mauricio, as we said, bidding for a hat trick here tonight. Good to see him back on the stat sheet. Good to see him back in the lineup, first and foremost.
Yeah, certainly, especially after the way the 2nd quarter ended.
There's a chance now off the boards to Prima, but he couldn't catch up to it. It'll come out to Mauricio. Mauricio doesn't have a lot of help. Now Pereiras makes a run down the right side. Carreras will slow it up and play it all the way back to his goalkeeper, Peter Sliwa.
Off-ball movement's been a lot better from Florida tonight,
Much
too.
better,
Especially
yeah.
as the game has gone on. I think it's gotten better and better. You give yourself more chances to unsettle the defense, to find a space, and to score goals.
Just like basketball, you got to create your opportunities off the dribble in basketball, and you got to do it in indoor soccer. You do it in outdoor soccer, obviously, too, but particularly important in the indoor game.
Definitely.
Here's Joanne Laidley. And Joanne is taken off the ball, but he keeps at it. That's the Laidley hustle that we know and love. Has played sparingly tonight, but certainly working his way back from a broken leg this summer, and expect that we'll see more and more of Joanne as the season unfolds. Here's Mugin with a shot, and Silva with a save, and he'll come out and dive on the rebound as Schlemper. Raphael Schlemper was looking for his second of the night.
Not a bad idea on that ball there by Reyes. Harrisburg was a little lackadaisical playing it off the boards, and Florida almost poached an eighth.
Long ball down to Neto, but J.P. Reyes and Peter Sliwa combined to take it away. Reyes still with it. Feeds it ahead to Schlemper, but he was at the end of his shift. If he had fresh legs, he probably could have caught up with that. Alex Mendoza with it. Gives it up to Thiago and now to Basso. Back to Thiago. Neto in the corner, lays it off. Shot partially deflected in there by Guilherme. Long outlet. Down the right side, it's Coutinho. Coutinho gets by his man, moves in. Coutinho dribbles in front. Oh, and he just had it knocked away at the last second by Silva.
That was nearly an unbelievable individual goal.
He's got great one-on-one skills and showed it there, and Silva just did knock it away at literally the last possible moment.
Shares a last name with the Liverpool great Philippe Coutinho, who loves to do stuff like that, make one-on-one individual runs. And
have to check and see if there's any bloodline relation there, right?
Nearly emulated Neymar's partner with the Brazilian national team on that one.
Coutinho playing this summer, our Coutinho, with the North American Soccer League New York Cosmos.
That's right, he was with the Cosmos.
Yep.
Excellent, steeped in history franchise in American soccer.
I actually remember seeing them play with Giorgio Canaglia and all the greats back in the late 70s, early 80s.
I think I was still my father's worst nightmare in the late 70s and early 80s.
Actually got to see them play up against the Montreal Impact in Olympic Stadium, I remember, yep.
That's very cool.
Yep, that was a lot of fun. Headed out of play, and it'll be a re-kick for the restart for the Heat.
Impact went to the Eastern Conference title game in MLS last year.
I'm sorry?
The Impact.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Nice to see them back and doing well.
Still going strong.
Yep. They actually played indoors for a bit back in the 90s.
They did.
Yep.
Their head coach up until this year, Mauro Biello, was a big part of those teams.
Yep, you're right. You know, it's interesting. You talk about head coaches, and you look at the top level of outdoor soccer in this country. I guess the three coaches that would come to mind would be the two coaches in the MLS final, and Brad Schmetzer, the coach of Seattle, was a mainstay in the indoor game. Actually, got his start and was a star in St. Louis for the old St. Louis Steamers. And
Greg Vanny too?
No, Dave Sarakin.
Oh, there you go.
The interim coach for the U.S. men's team. Actually had the pleasure of covering Dave when he played for the Buffalo Stallions. And his career began in the indoor game for 4 years, and he was a very good indoor player. So certainly, you know, I know sometimes people like to, especially some of the outdoor purists, like to kind of look down at the indoor sport, but there is a rich tradition in history. Here's Mugin with the header, and he tried to go far post.
What a lovely ball by Sliwa. Oh, that was gorgeous. And I love Freddie's game in front of the net. There's just so many different things he can do with it.
And he's so just kind of sly about it. Just kind of, yeah, it's just almost effortless, and you just don't know which way he's going to go, but he's got a plan, and he usually executes it.
It's a really nice hand coming off to the bench, too. That's nice to see from the hometown fans.
Inside 10 minutes to go. And Reyes will play it all the way back into his own end.
I like this from Florida. They're controlling the game. We see sometimes with teams that press, they don't know when to quit. and that opens you up in the back to get, to have another team come back on you. That's not happening here. Florida is slowing down. They're looking to kill the game, and that's a smart way to play this, especially at home.
Yeah, they have definitely put an emphasis more on possession here, but they haven't given up the attack, and that is important as well. They want to continue to create opportunities, but be smart about it. And that's how you want to play it here over the final 9 minutes. Defense first, but you'd have to think maybe Harrisburg might go to a 6th attacker, just like Florida did last week. They did it with 12 minutes to go against Baltimore and almost came back and won it. Here's Diegas. Plays it back out to Reyes, and now all the way back to Guillerme. Over to Arrico. Arrico's got one tonight. Takeaway by the Heat to Prima. Over to Basso. Silva will come out to play it ahead to Neto. Being watched in there by Guillerme. Lately back out again on. He may take a fairly regular shift here, being fresh legs in the final quarter. He's going to lose that foot race to Silva right there, and then he's taken down. And
foul number 17, Joanne Lately.
I appreciate the effort there from Lately,
yeah,
but when you got the keeper on the ball.
Yeah, and that was a little too aggressive, especially this late in the game. You certainly do not want to put yourself a man down.
What we were just talking about, that composure, kill the game off, slow down, control the game. And I understand he's coming back from the injury and he's still finding his legs, but yeah, you're right. That's just probably a little bit too much at this stage, especially when the keeper's involved.
But nice to see him out here, and here's a long chance now by Silva as he puts it over somewhere towards Frostproof.
How could you be a purist about a game where the keeper can shoot? That's awesome. Now, when does Harrisburg go to a 6th attacker?
That's what we were
here?
just wondering.
That's the big question.
We may see it here after this timeout. Join the winning team at Sykes. Sykes is one of the world's leading customer service and digital solutions companies, and we're looking for people just like you to join our Lakeland team. Go to Sykes.com/jobs to get the ball rolling. Our thanks to Sykes. Of course, we play here on Sykes Field at the RP Funding Center. Tropics with a 7-3 lead. Keeping an eye on the Harrisburg bench and see if Denison Cabral wants to go to the 6th attacker quite yet. Don't see anybody over there putting the 6th attacker jersey on yet, so may not happen. So after the Heat had tied it at 3 on that goal by Gonzaga in the second quarter, it's been Salas, Pereiras, Schlemper, and Mugin to make it 7-3. Florida, they have outshot Harrisburg tonight 30-15.
Wow.
And that, as you mentioned when we talked about the shot differential in the first half, pretty reflective of how this game, sometimes that isn't necessarily the stat that will tell you exactly what happened on the pitch, but tonight that is very reflective of how this game has gone.
Yeah, no question. I mean, this has been a domination, particularly after those first 6 minutes when Harrisburg went 2-0 up. Since then, it has been all Tropics. And like we said, they could easily have had 9, 10, 11. And I think, for Harrisburg, this is a team that's played one more game. They're coming off, that emotional win over Baltimore. They're going into the holiday with the travel. This was an opportunity for a letdown, and they get 3 more cracks at the Tropics. That's the great thing about this division. It just keeps coming.
Still not over, though. 7.5 minutes to go. We saw
That's true.
The Tropics down late last week and almost come back to tie it. So
Silva's still out there for
Harrisburg.
Is.
I'm a little surprised by that.
I am too.
And Silva will reach out and grab it. Freddie wanted to whistle with Duarte in there as well.
I suppose it's possible that Silva will also just take a little bit more of an advanced role in the game as well.
Pardue clears it in front and knocked away by Guillerme. Good play again by the recent addition. Here's Pereiras ahead to Schlemper. Schlemper and Silva going to come out. Schlemper going to get it away, knocks it towards goal, and it just goes wide. Boy, that would have been the backbreaker right there, and it skittered wide by not more than 12 inches.
Wow.
Good play by Schlemper to challenge Silva for the ball.
Not another huge break for Harrisburg.
There's a shot and goes up over the glass into the crowd. Sleewood did not get a piece of it, so the Tropics will get the goal kick here.
That was Duarte on that shot. It's just been such a quiet night for Ricardo Carvalho. I'm so surprised by that. Really has not been able to make much of an impression on the game at all. I don't believe he has a point. Neither he nor Freitas have a point. That is astonishing, and a credit to what the Tropics have done in this game tonight.
Yep, they have shut down the big guns, and that is something that, again, was a little bit of a point of emphasis for Clay Roberts tonight. Make sure they knew where those guys were on the floor. Make sure they were never allowed the kind of space and opportunity to create. And the Tropics have taken a timeout here with 6:33 to play. Had a car accident or have a personal injury, then look to Brooks, our official injury attorneys. Go to brookslawgroup.com or call 1-800-LAW-3030 for more information. So 6.5 to go. Not exactly certain what the Tropics want to talk over here, but probably just a little bit of strategy about how much they want to continue to pressure when especially Harrisburg has it. And Silva still very much with the goalkeeper jersey on, so perhaps you're right, Evan, they may just involve him more in the offensive third as we wind down for the final 6.5 minutes.
It's going to be that kind of time for Harrisburg, and we see Silva still in the huddle here for the Heat, and I don't see a sixth attacker jersey at the moment. So again, it's just sort of a question of you know, when do you pull the trigger for the Heat? But for Florida, again, the sparks have not flown here in the fourth quarter, but that's by design. They feel comfortable with a 4-goal lead, and they feel that they can control the game with it, and they have done an exemplary job of it.
Well, and right, they've still been in very much control of the pace and of the possession and of the chances. Even though, as you said, they haven't exploded, although they've gotten 3 here in the half, they certainly have played the way they've wanted to play tonight and controlled things pretty much, can't say from start to finish, because Harrisburg, if you're just tuning in, actually had a 2-0 lead less than 6 minutes into the game, but it has been basically all Florida since, giving their fans an early Christmas present here on Sykes Field tonight. Here comes the aforementioned Carvalho. There's a long shot blocked by Ty Hall. Good example again of the marking that Florida has done against some of Harrisburg's top players. Hall takes it away and then loses it, gets knocked down, and there's a blue card coming. That is Leandro Duarte, who caught Hall up high.
That's a frustration foul there by Duarte. That is getting put him in the box. Kills the game unless Harrisburg can manufacture something shorthanded.
Yeah.
Because even if Florida doesn't score here, you got a 4-goal lead with 4 minutes left. That is very difficult territory for Harrisburg.
The Tropics actually had a game on the road last year when they won in Kansas City. It was one of their best wins of the season, and they actually had 2 shorthanded goals in that game, and they were really the keys to the comeback in that game against Kansas City. So it can happen. Tropics know firsthand. What you don't want to do is give up a good scoring opportunity here. As you point out, if the worst thing that happens is you kill 2 minutes off the clock, that's not terrible. Coutinho outside the line to Pereiras. Coutinho playing a little back and forth. Now it's Freddie Mugin in the corner to Salas. Cross field to Coutinho. Harrisburg with pressure outside the line, keeping the Tropics pushed out from goal, but as we said, that's not all that bad. Here's Dieguez. Tries to spin inside the arc and couldn't control it, but comes back to midfield. Coutinho will.
That's fine though. Just stay composed. Don't let the ball get behind you is really the only rule here for Florida.
Salas to Coutinho. Pressure briefly there by Thiago. Dieguez with it, had Freddie down low. Now Dieguez shot, and he just flicked it wide.
I like this from the Heat, though. I mean, you have no choice. You have to pressure this, even though you're on the penalty kill.
Here's Coutinho, and they're going to call Salas for the not only the foul, but a blue card on Mauricio Salas.
I thought the foul was justified. I did not expect a card. If we could catch this one more time. I am surprised. Late hard swing, that chop with his legs there. That is a good call and a deserved penalty. So now we'll get a little 4-on-4 action for 47 seconds.
Yeah, that is interesting. It'll create obviously a lot more space on the floor. The Tropics will go with Anthony Arrico and Victor Pereira up front. It'll be Marco Rodriguez and Lucas Montoleros back defensively.
Only Phil Averbuck can help you with penalties. Our goals are your goals.
Neto looking for the hat trick, double teamed in the far corner. Rodriguez in there, taken away by Arrico. Neto then, Arrico, who wants it? Finally the Heat comes out of there with it. Silva will join the offense here as we talked about. Top of the box to Pardue. And almost a great chance for the Tropics. Montoleros hard into the boards goes Gonzaga, no whistle. Gonzaga back into the play.
And Silva really is up here as another attacker.
Here's a long shot, just goes wide far post. Basso will track it down, plays it back out to Silva. Man advantage now for Harrisburg, and Peter Sliwa will come out and put his mitts on that one. Down to 3:50 to go, and the Tropics still with a 4-goal lead, although Harrisburg on the man advantage now. And with Silva coming up to join the rush, it'll be basically a 6-on-4.
Absolutely have to score here to have any shot.
Yep. Gonzaga with it.
Just too much time. I want to see them
not
get
a lot of urgency here by the Heat.
I want to see them get a little bit more aggressive, and I wonder if they've already sort of conceded this game.
Carvalho with it in the corner, on top to Gonzaga.
Looks like some confusion as
to now we actually do have a sixth attacker up there. Gonzaga shot in the goal. Short side on Sliwa. I don't think ever had a very good look at it.
No, that they had to score. There was no doubt about that. Got his second, and both of them really, really nice from Lucio Gonzaga tonight. The only one of the big three that has shown up in any meaningful sense in this game for Harrisburg.
So still 3:10 to play. For the moment, Silva will go back into goal, but as soon as Harrisburg takes possession, I'm certain he will head to the bench. Whoa, careful over there, yeah.
Mendoza going down hard, oh dear.
Caught a corner of the carpet that actually came up. Here's a chance for Harrisburg again, and J.P. Reyes, the steady defender, steps in front of that shot. Mujin will play it all the way back to Guilherme. And now to Sliwa. Ahead to Coutinho and right to Guilherme.
Good composure by Florida. The one chance Harrisburg really had was to get one more real quick like that. Florida killing time. This is very nice from the Tropics.
Sliwa will play it ahead to Reyes. Long ball down to Mujin, and that will bounce over the boards. So good idea by JP, but bad luck. 2:30 to go. And now sixth attacker on again for Harrisburg. That's Thiago, who dons the sixth attacker jersey. Tropics counter with Aristodamo, Hall, and Arrico up front. Reyes and Guilherme back on defense. Thiago with it. Carvalho plays it into the corner in front for Neto, but it's knocked away. Tropics clear the zone, and the clock will continue to run with inside 2 minutes to go. Here in Lakeland, Florida, the Tropics looking to snap a 2-game losing streak.
Let's keep it going for this final 2 minutes.
Neto lays it off to Carvalho. Carvalho with a shot. It's Rico that gets a foot in front of it that time.
That's an example. That's a one-timer. Rip that shot. You're down by 3 with 2 minutes left. Take a crack.
There's a chance in front for Neto, and he misses wide.
Neto's the one guy I think tonight that really has done that and shown some desire.
Turns, gets it in the corner, shot in front off the boards. Sliwa got a hand on it, and that was important. And Freitas is going to have to track it down all the way into his own zone. Time is just about out on the Heat here. Freitas over to Gonzaga in the corner, back out to Gonzaga now. Tries to get it across the floor and does to Carvalho. Top of the box, there's a shot and another block by the Tropics. This time it's Pereiras. And a restart opportunity for Harrisburg coming up at the top of the penalty arc here. So 51.6 seconds to go.
No lead is safe in the indoor game, is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd be playing na-na, hey, kiss him goodbye quite yet. It's a touch optimistic, but telling you, if the Tropics give up 3 here in the last 51 seconds, it's not going to be a very merry Christmas for anyone, except the folks in Harrisburg, I guess.
That would be astonishing.
Well, it can happen. Can certainly happen, so don't go away. Neto.
Florida almost pulled it off last week.
Yep, Neto with it. There's a shot blocked at the wall. Thiago keeps it alive. Feeds it across. There's a shot and a good block by Reyes in front, still loose. And kicked out of there by Florida. Guilherme gets it to Pereiras. Pereiras with a long shot. And that is well wide as he was looking for a whistle. Crowd coming to their feet here at the RP Funding Center. Quality effort tonight by the Tropics. There's Pereiras. Pereiras takes a whack at it. Can't control it. Sliwa comes out and is going to pay the price. So with 7 seconds left, the Heat will make it look.
With 7 seconds left, the Harrisburg Heat has scored their 5th goal of the game.
I believe that was that Basso down there on that shot?
Yeah, I think it may have been.
7-5 certainly looks like your final.
Yep, sure does, and really wasn't as close as the final score will indicate, as the Tropics will wind out the final 7 seconds. Hugs all around on the floor, and the Tropics will bring an early Christmas present to their fans here in Central Florida. A nice pre-Christmas Eve crowd here at the RP Funding Center, treated to a 7-5 win. The Tropics improve to 5-4 on the season, and Harrisburg slips to 4-6. Other than perhaps that second half up in Syracuse when the Tropics scored 7 straight, thought this might have been Florida's best effort of the season, and certainly their most consistent effort of the season, start to finish, after Harrisburg jumped out to that early lead. For the last 55 minutes, it was Florida's game, and they just took the play away from Harrisburg at just about every turn, and it results in the 2-goal win. So a nice way to break a 2-game winning streak. And as we talked about, Evan, during the broadcast, if this is the new look Tropics, if you will, we kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, I love the pressure. I love that style. I'm a big high-pressing guy myself. It's the kind of soccer I like to watch. And I think they have there's a couple of things you need for it. Obviously, you need athletes. You need pace, but you need depth. And I think the Tropics have both of those things. They have an opportunity to incorporate this style and really unsettle a lot of teams in this league with it.
And it'll be interesting to see going forward with the game in St. Louis and then the 3 games here at home in January to see just how it plays out.
Perhaps they can ambush
Yeah.
St. Louis.
Well,
there's a Christmas pun for you.
It was an ambush of sorts here tonight over the Harrisburg Heat by a score of 7-5. Our thanks, of course, to the folks at Ybor Eats in Ybor City. That's where the locals eat at 5th and 17th over in Ybor. Just forget about the fancy places over there, the high-priced and overpriced places. Just head over to Ybor Eats. They've been there for like 30 years. It's where the locals eat, and they have terrific cheesesteaks. And tell you what, the family, they do it right over there in Ybor Eats. The reason is they have been classically trained up on the Jersey Shore, and they brought that experience back to Ybor City, and they create the best Philly cheesesteaks in all of Central and West Florida, as far as I'm concerned. Try the ultimate, Evan, if you ever get over there.
You are making me nostalgic for some Jersey Shore cooking. Oh,
yeah.
man, that's my home.
If you put bacon on a Philly cheesesteak, it's probably the only thing you can do to improve it.
You put bacon on anything, you improve
and that's what they do at Ybor Eats for their ultimate. They also have a buffalo Philly chicken cheesesteak, if you will, with shredded chicken.
I'm so hungry.
It's a great place to go, Ybor Eats, and we thank them for their support of Florida Tropics and Lakeland Tropics soccer over the summer. So the final here tonight in Lakeland, the Florida Tropics 7, the Harrisburg Heat 5. Florida holds on to second place in the MASL Eastern Division with the win, and they move to within a game and a half now of the Idle Baltimore Blast. On the road Sunday, the 31st, for a New Year's Eve matinee with the St. Louis Ambush. As we mentioned, that is a 3:05 start St. Louis time, and that will be 4:05 Eastern. And then back home for the next 3-game homestand. As we said, the Syracuse Silver Knights, another Eastern Division foe that the Tropics, Evan, should have a little payback on their minds that night on January 6th.
I would certainly think so after what happened here on December 1st. And then they did go up to Syracuse and win pretty comfortably. But again, with this division, anything can happen. That game I'm really interested to see if they continue to utilize this press. We will find out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that's exactly what Syracuse did to Florida that night and really pressed them all over the floor from start to finish, and particularly in that second half when Kennardo Forbes scored 3 straight goals for Syracuse to reverse a 4-2 Florida lead in that game and gave Syracuse the 6-5 win. So we'll see, maybe the, the immovable force against the object or whatever there. Is that expression? Got too much cold medicine going on here, but the point the point is, if the Tropics play in that game the way they played tonight and Syracuse comes with the same game plan, something's got to give.
Irresistible force against the immovable object.
There we go. Thank you so much. That's
or unstoppable force.
Something,
that works too.
Something like that. But that will be an interesting matchup to watch. And as we said, that's the first of 3 at home in January for the Tropics, the 6th against Syracuse, the 12th, the rematch against St. Louis. And on the 20th, the Kansas City Comets make their only appearance.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. We'll have them all on Soccer Night Florida. So if you can't make it out to Sykes Field, although I highly recommend that you do. We really do have a lot of fun here. We'll be on NMASL.tv and bring you all the action.
Safe travels to you. I know you're heading to California, so we thank you for making this your last official duty before heading west.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Safe travels for everybody across MASL land as we get to enjoy the holiday weekend now with our family and friends. The final here tonight from Sykes Field at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland, Florida, the Florida Tropics 7 and the Harrisburg Heat 5. Have a great night and a great Christmas, everybody.